And I've always wanted one, but you couldn't get it here. Well, I couldn't find it. But then, damn Wookie.
Damn Wookie.
Yeah, damn Wookie and his goddamn whiskey.
Yeah, well, yeah. Whiskey's been a thing literally lately. Like last night, I went to a whiskey bar, cocktail bar, and yeah, there was some 25-year-old whiskey, 15-year-old whiskey, and 12.
That
Like
15-year-old whiskey. Whoa, that'd be nice.
Yeah, that 25-year-old whiskey was. Whoa.
I had 12 or 18. It was a Chivas Regal. That was so good. Or Chivas. I don't know how you say it.
Chivas. Ricky Chavez.
Ricky Chavez.
Ricky Chavez.
Ricky Chavez. It's about 25 years old, and it's funny. It's a funny drink.
Oh man!
And as you progress through drinking it, the more funny you get, like he does.
Yeah. That's how it's supposed to be. You have a Ricky Chavez. It's a 25-year-old drink. The more you drink it, the more funny you are, or at least you think you are, and that's how it works. So buy more of it, become funny, become like Ricky Chavez the drink.
And then when you basically done it, when basically you've done the bottle, you're like this. So I had the drink, but I didn't know how I felt, but it was kind of wonderful. And it's like the scene from The Office. They're like delusionally sitting off in the corner, just talking to himself to a camera.
Well, but are you recording now? Because this is good little stuff at the start. I haven't even started drinking, and I'm like already like Ricky Chavez, 25-year-old. Yeah. Oh god.
Oh god. But hey, guess what? If you're watching this on YouTube, you've got the little extra start. Cause guess what?
Oh man, I should have put pants on. You should have told me. Well, remind me not to stand up. All right, not to stand up at all.
I mean, you can
That's
just do
right.
It's
It's the special. It's the Ricky Chavez. It's the Ricky Chavez. I've let myself go. I'm a bit Australian now, a little bit Asian. I'm Ricky Chavez.
Ricky Chavez.
That's what happens when you drink Ricky Chavez.
Oh man!
Oh god.
It's completely different. Yeah. Oh god.
That is
Alright.
great.
Well, let's get to it. Alright. What's up, Beardies and Beardettes? You're listening to another fine episode of the Beardy Bros podcast with me, Dale and Jim. On this week's episode, we have a special guest right down below us here, ShavenWookie. How are you, man?
known as Rocket Chavez.
That is great.
ShavenWookie here. Thanks guys for having me on. I was
welcome.
bored, so I decided to join.
Welcome.
No, not really. Actually, it was quite honor coming on because you guys been. Was it? It's well over a year now for the podcast. Don't do believe it's second season.
We're in our second season. We're
Season.
nearly at a year. It'll be in a couple of months' time. We'll be hitting a year, so we'll have to have a big
In April.
In April, yeah, we'll have to have a big hurrah for it. I think.
Yeah. I'm an avid listener. I don't get to watch it on YouTube as much because I can't be allowed to watch YouTube at work. If I could, I would, but that means I'd still get no work done.
And that's exactly it. That's exactly what we're here for. The Beardy Bros podcast is to support you through your ear holes, not just your eye holes. And even the follicles in your beard.
I could say something else, but that's just private. That's
Buttholes is not part of it. You can do whatever else you want to on your OnlyFans or whatever you want to do.
Spit in the earplug, wherever you like.
That's for out of other times.
I
You can
recommend
listen
putting
to
it in the ear.
Spotify if that's how you choose to listen to Spotify, and that way you can. But that's in your own time. That's the way. But when you're at work, you don't do that. It's just pure natural
I found
Spotify.
a new market. A headphone that isn't for your earphones. It just goes up there and you feel the music.
It's basically like either a butt plug. It's like an audio butt plug or something like that. Or whatever. Butt plugs. Neutral market covers everyone then.
No, exactly.
Probably a thing.
Yeah.
That could be a thing.
I'm just imagining how phone calls are gonna go. Because when people look at you weird and you don't have earplugs in,
and then, but then all they can hear is Dale and Jim going. All they can hear is just us talking. Like, where's that coming from? And you hear down the no, fuck, no, yeah, Ricky Chavez, Oh man.
Yes.
So that could be pretty interesting. That one exclusively coming to a butt near you.
Come to a butt to you. Yeah. Special. Turn up that bass if you know what's good for you. Play a little Metallica as well.
Hell yeah, that's just a ritual, really.
Oh, I nearly had beer coming out of my nose.
It brings fade to black to a new definition.
Oh god.
Oh, I've only had one
I'm
sip and I'm
done.
already done. Oh.
Oh. What a mental time. So we've got a bit as always to cover this episode, but as always we've had only one other special guest, which was Juddy for the audio.
But he didn't get a video one. Like
No, he didn't. We do owe him a video at some point, but ShavenWookie's been special. Juddy got the first guest, so he got the special being first guest. But then ShavenWookie, he has been lucky enough to be the first video guest. So
nice.
different privileges,
I feel
different
special.
Each little privilege. It's a little milestone for each one
Yeah,
of them,
even though I wanted to be like, I wouldn't say I want to be the first guest. I just want to be like a guest without videos. So that means I didn't have to wear clothes, but you know, I put a bit of extra effort in just for the video.
Well, we've
But I
now
mean-
changed that format, so
Yeah.
This is probably the best way to do it, I think now.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. It's we're in the 21st century, people.
this
it's
is
not
it. This
good.
is it. What we are. We cover tech, and look at us. We're using tech to do the podcast. It's not just simple.
Yep.
It's here. The way we do it, as we know, because we've still
Although-
got that weird crap going on, but then works great for us as
Not
well.
weird
Even
crap.
yeah, well, we talk about the COVID, even though it's kind of
COVID.
moved on. Like again, distances. Even though without COVID, we're all so far apart, but this allows us all to come
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
all different borders.
Exactly. Which, I mean, vaccines are rolling out, which is good.
Yep. Fantastic.
Rolling out through the UK, I saw as well. So they're rolling out everywhere around the world.
Yeah, the Queen got hers, and she was so happy about it.
I'm so happy that I've got me vaccination. That's my very bad Queen. I do
I
declare.
thought, wait, I thought we got the vaccinations from the Queen because she's so resilient. It was just they were siphoning blood from her.
You just gave her the
a
one, and then
mixture
it's just
of- yeah. You're
That's
just
what the-
returning back what was mine.
basically our vaccinations are a mix of the Queen's blood after having a shot and Ricky Gervais mixed together.
Ricky Gervais, and I thought it was also.
She was like, "What? I don't want none of that."
It's just
Jesus.
it's Chuck Norris's also blood in there mixed in.
Would we just take Chuck Norris straight up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, he wouldn't give all of it. He said he's still gonna save a
Maintain.
bit. He's gonna give millions of doses. He can't give all his blood, can he?
Well,
Millions. I mean,
Billions.
billions and billions. What, 7 billion?
Oh, something like
7 billion.
Something
I mean, it takes a little bit of blood. Just a teeny bit to do someone.
Teeny bit,
that. One
yeah.
drop. If one drop of Chuck Norris's blood will make you explode, so have to suck that
Exactly.
down.
They're gonna water it down with other people's bloods, or it's just gonna be too potent.
So he could do multiple planets, really.
yeah.
Oh yeah. One single drop, and then but then they still have to dilute it down. It's I think the first trials were like they just
Weird.
injected his blood directly into people, and they would explode. So they had to do some trial and error there and water it right down. They originally did a half, half Ricky Gervais and half Chuck Norris, but they would be like started saying jokes and become a stand-up comedian, and then they'd explode. So
Yeah.
it was kind of
Sound like
Gervais.
Adam Sandler.
yeah. There's a lot of YouTube videos of guys pretending that they've got the vaccine. They're trying to do bits out the office, and then they explode halfway through. They've all been taken down. It's
Very
a bit
controversial.
conspiracy. Very controversial. They had to be taken all down because they were too funny. But then the realization is that also they explode at the end, which I don't know which is the punchline.
Yeah. Well, I think I've heard that US is supposed to have their adaptation, so more.
Yeah,
more-
they've got that Chuck Norris, Ricky Gervais, the Queen. They mix all that blood in there.
But
and
but
I
would
think
would the version of the US version be? I don't know if it'd be as good as the UK version. So
No, they had to water it down and got the Jason Penanaki from the new Texas Ranger. They had to get his
yeah.
blood in there.
now to get his
mix
blood,
it
and
out.
then there was a bit mixed with
Yeah.
that. Well, I don't know if you've tried the Corelli. Have you tried the Stephen Corelli?
No, I haven't tried the Stephen Corelli. Yeah, but that's a special vaccine.
The Chavez was. I think the Chavez tastes a little bit nicer than the Corelli, but
Yeah, it does. It's the Ricky Gervais alcohol. Actually, I'm drinking. As we were talking before this started, I'm drinking Blackened Metallica whiskey, batch
Yeah.
109.
I do like the
very
label though.
smooth.
It's like the
So
frequency,
jelly.
like it's an audio tracking, like that
That's-
print. It's like the audio tracking.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's pretty cool
I
as
might
well.
be generous and find out your address, and I'll send you a bottle. I can't guarantee it's going to be full.
It's an empty bottle. It's just an empty bottle, right?
It's like a little sliver on the bottom. It's like just enough for one drink. Yeah, it's
One
a
drink's
very
all you
nice
need.
drop.
I'm gonna have to get some.
I don't normally drink whiskey straight.
Yep.
But I started yesterday.
But damn, that's a big glass.
I haven't stopped. No. I'm still drinking from yesterday. No. But no, it's a nice drop. It's not harsh. It's really smooth.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just drink it. It's fantastic. And yeah, I'm tempted to get more alcohol from that website. I think it's like groglords.com, and it's an Australian website, and you can get split knot whiskey and vodka and whatever else, a gin, body jar gin. But yeah, that's really good. But yes, I'll have to find out your address, Jim, and I'll send you a bottle. Can't
Now
guarantee.
you have to, excuse me. Now you have to taste every one of them to see what's different, what one you like more than the other.
Oh,
So it's
that's
a
gonna
long-
be interesting. I
It's
could
gonna be
do
a long
that.
process. Like, right?
It could be a long process.
Because hasn't Iron Maiden got theirs as well?
Yes. I think
So you
they
can do like who comes out on top. Like who's got the best whiskey or bourbon?
Yeah, but those ones don't have a playlist. Like with the Blackened, it has each batch has its individual playlist. So when it's being made, a playlist is played during its creation, and it is infused with the songs of Metallica, and infused into apparently each batch is very different because of the music that's being
It's
played.
infused differently.
Infused differently. So the batch that I've got is the 109. So the playlist for that is of Wolfen Man, Crash Course in Brain Surgery,
Ooh.
Hardwired, Master of Puppets, Devil's Dance, Here Comes Revenge,
That was
Fade to
dancing.
Black,
A bit different.
and Unforgiven 3.
Ooh.
That's a good buddy.
Well,
playlist.
I'm hoping they release a special playlist batch because I want to buy the one that's the BlizzCon Twitch soundtrack playlist.
Well, that's an issue we could do there. We could just make gaming alcohol that has a special playlist. So we bring out a League of Legends one that has all the League of Legends music from it.
Brewed while listening.
I thought you meant doing a COD one. All the people raging just goes on repeat. So it's like angry with you.
Just game chat.
No, I'll just
Yeah.
release Escape from Tarkov one.
Well, Fortnite
that's
would just be
being
Ninja.
real raging.
Just
Yeah,
have
Ninja.
Ninja just yelling at people, just like yelling at kids. Just
Call him shit.
it'd be
You shouldn't be playing this.
pretty wild. Pretty wild batch. It'd be pretty sharp.
You can call it
maybe a bit bitter.
the Wild Batch.
The wild batch.
The
The
Wild
Wild
Batch.
Batch got Ninja and Shroud.
If Ninja had an alcoholic drink, I think it would be like, I don't know, maybe a gin, maybe, or it would just be straight up. It wouldn't be alcoholic. It would just be like a juice box.
It's just
Ninja.
one.
It'd just be like the little poppers
Great
that you
wine.
get when you're back in school.
Oh,
Yeah,
it'd be wine in a popper. It'd be wine in a
wine
popper.
is, oh my god.
Just a little serving on the go. Just
Little wine.
little sack
wine.
even, little sack and little.
If you can't handle the Ninja, have a little wine.
That's perfect.
Ninja wine.
No one can handle the Ninja.
No.
So,
I mean, I don't watch him, but that's just me.
Well,
Ninja's famous for Fortnite, and there was a patch or something, a skin for Fortnite lately. It was the Aliens one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, saw that one. Yeah, it's another skin, bringing back more pop culture, which is nice.
Ripley and the Xenomorph was pretty dope.
Yeah, Ripley and Xenomorph. But like, I can see where he's going. Like, it's all the classic pop culture references. They're not really going on some kind of like, it's because of some special event. It's like, well, you're making every day a special event. It's bringing out skins that you always just wanted.
It's a bit all over the place. I'm getting a bit irked with it a little bit. Like, it is Donald Mustard getting carried away with that funky name again. Jim loves his name.
Donald Ketchup.
Donald Mustard. But like, that's exactly it. Like what you're saying there. Like, he's adding different things from his childhood or things that he's really enjoyed, and it just seems a bit out of place from that, like, the aspect of being all for the hunters, when the first skin we had, which was Kratos, which I didn't feel like he was really a hunter per se, and then we had Master Chief. I'm like, how is this even fitting from the get go?
No, the first was Predator, wasn't it?
No, he came later.
Well, Mando was first.
Well, technically
Yeah,
Mando was the first, and then I guess Predator was technically already part of the game, but all the skin packs they released following from that, which he's supposed to be bringing in from universes, which is the whole thing was about what's the point of having bounty hunters and hunters and for the main story, but then having all these side characters part of the universe, which is actually part of the story, because basically what's happening is the main fracture is breaking and it's making all these portholes, and he's going through them to bring in characters from those different universes in to for whatever reason they're doing. It's like, how are they helping? Because you basically got things that are there to actually help people, or characters that actually do good, but then you've got like the Predator, who would basically want to hunt everyone and collect everyone's skulls and spines to mount.
Yeah, that's like Kratos. Like he'd just after anyone.
Kratos would be like, "Oh, I'm better than you." Like you can see him having a brawl with Master Chief, being like, "What are you? Are you some kind of weird metal god? I'm gonna take you down!" And then just charge at him with his axe and like have a brawl with Master Chief, and Master Chief could be like, boom, 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 like.
I think it's just an excuse to go, let's bring out some cool skins.
Because they got like, because there's the Terminator and Sarah Connor. We've now got the Ripley and Xenomorph, which is kind of funny when when Jonesy did the whole teleport thing. He teleported Ripley, but apparently he must have brought an alien across as well, and it just seems a bit out of place.
It's not for the game though. It's more they've got to add skins for the damn money. Like that's the only thing of revenue now is skins. Like. And they release them every week or two, like.
Well, that's the thing too. It's weird how they've been doing the cycles of releasing, because so far they've had Tron got released as well. Tron was only in for 1 day cycle, which is the weird part.
Yeah.
They have skins that have been like Kratos and Chief were like there for a fair chunk of the season. Then they went out. Then we had like Flash come in. We had Tron come in just for 1 day, come into the store and then leave. But then we've had like the Street Fighter pack stay in there for like the last 3 days now. We've had Flash being in there for like 5 or 6 days, and it's just like characters are coming and going, but they're not like rotating appropriately.
It's got to be a consistent time, otherwise people will miss out for missing that 1 day.
Well, that's exactly it. Like especially for the Tron, because there's a mate I know, and he wanted to get the Tron skin. I'm like, no, we'll just wait because it will definitely come back, because I want to do a last minute cash grab at the end of the season. They'll do the whole thing and put all the skins back in, because they did that last year with the last season with the Marvel set. They did a last minute pop up in the store again to get that last minute cash grab.
But there's more of these than the Marvel ones, though. There's a lot more of these.
My theory is because think of all the big events that happen in Fortnite. You had the Star Wars one, you had, so on and so forth. And that was revenue, because they would pay their, pay Fortnite, can we have this in the game as a big event? Let's have concerts.
Promote us for it.
Premiere stuff. And because of COVID, there's not much premieres events.
They're just doing different crossovers of different universes. But basically, like I said,
exactly. So that's another way of bringing in revenue, because instead of getting paid by these big companies to having a special event on Fortnite, like for concerts and so on and so forth, well, they got to find another way of ad revenue. So best way to do that is just keep bringing out skins, because your people at home, they're staying at home, remote doing, they can make that. But it's also a special event that's going to be at cinemas or something. Well, cinemas aren't open really.
Well, that's exactly it. And it's weird that we had like the big Marvel event with the last season, and now it's just gone to a kind of a sprawled out chaos. Like we actually had a themed event. It was Marvel. They had this whole Marvel arc with like the Nexus and like Galactus and stuff. Like there was a story there. Where is this going to go for its ending? Like I'm kind of confused now that we've got this whole ripped drawer open of like all these different universes, not just like Fortnite. Fortnite's now connecting everything in pop culture basically to this one game. It's like, where's this arc going for the game now? Because they're kind of getting a bit too carried away. And going by like Donald Mustard's Twitter, he's all like, I'm happy to have all these in because these are all my childhood. And like I said before the podcast, and then previous ones, it's like he's just a kid in a candy store, and he stated himself, he's like, I like doing this, I had these ones, all these, and I like working with all these people, bringing it all into this game that I've been working on. Like he's like the founder, lead director or whatever of Fortnite, and he's just like, I want everything that I want in this game, and he's getting it. And it's just crazy whether, I don't know, he's kind of like gloating that he's got this power that he can talk to different companies and be like, hey, can I get you in here? And they're like, yeah, sweet. And that's what I mean.
I think the ad revenue is kind of like split in the middle. Fortnite gets half, they get half. People are still making money. But because of the lack of large, big events, like how they had, Star Wars in there, or
yeah, but their events were going down, like that Travis Scott one, that tanked.
Well, that's exactly it. That was interesting as well. I'm just trying to think now.
Like,
Wait.
Everyone's falling away slowly. Still.
Was Predator? I was gonna say, sorry. I was gonna say, was Predator and Alien owned by Fox?
Disney, I think.
Well, if it's Fox, it's Disney.
Yeah, Fox is Disney for a while now.
That's the thing.
It's hard to tell who these days.
Well, I'm just trying to think. Well, that's what I'm trying to say. Is he partnered exclusively with Disney because Disney owns all these franchises? He's technically only dealing with the one company, being Disney, and he's getting all these different franchises from them. So he's got to deal with them because Marvel. No, well, that's Sony and Microsoft being Kratos.
If that's the case, then literally they just gave a list and went.
And Street Fighter, that's
Capcom.
Yeah.
So which is interesting. It's weird. But the movies, who owns rights to the movies and stuff? Like, it's weird.
Yeah, that's true. It's different.
It's interesting that what they've done, because they've partnered with Sony and Microsoft, which are straight up game. Then you've got like Warner. Well, I guess Warner Brothers. DC is Warner Brothers for like Arrow and the Flash and Batman. They've had Batman in the past
because they're getting sold to someone else.
That's what I mean. It's interesting how he's gone about it. That's what I'm trying to figure out who's he actually with. Like, who's his main? Is he just dealing with everyone?
I think he's just getting whoever's available, like whoever he can get to do it.
And most companies are like
around.
Yeah. Well, I'm being the way that Fortnite's at, I guess everyone's like, yep, I'll happily do a deal with Fortnite because it's like it's a big thing still. Like it's easy money. So I guess if you'd like to say before, if they're doing a 50-50 split, if someone makes a sale of that skin, it's a 50-50 split. Well, then that's easy money for whoever's taking it, whether it's Warner Brothers, Disney, Sony, whatever. It's easy, $5 per sale or whatever. Well, it's not even that. It's like $20 for a skin, nearly $15. You halve that. That's easy. $7 or whatever in their pocket, $10 in their pocket. And think about how many people buy skins. That's a lot of money they're making off off doing nothing really. So
I reckon people will get probably less than half. They'll probably get a quarter of it all.
So it's interesting.
Even then, like you have 10 million people that buy a skin. That's if you get $1 from each one.
Yeah, that's
like
$10.
And if it's $10, like Jesus.
Yeah, if it is $10, then it's...
That's why Epic's
I'm now
laughing.
thinking if they're going from Alien, if they're doing another movie, it's been games, and then
but they've done Ghostbusters
movies. I'm thinking John McClane or someone next. Like,
well, I wouldn't be surprised. The way that Donald Mustard is going, he likes that genre of like stuff we've grown up with as well. He's like basically one of us. Like he likes that genre from that early, and you already see what he's like. He's got Terminator 2, Predator, Alien. Like he's got Ghostbusters in there, like old school Ghostbusters, not new school, old school Ghostbusters. He's got Star Wars.
You've got to have Die Hard.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be surprised maybe that might happen because
Weapon,
he likes
something like that. Like it'd be so cool.
Die Hard.
But like if it's Die Hard, I guess it's because it would be. Who owns that?
Would it just be John McClane? Like, is there anyone else?
Die Hard, and then they bring out Hans Gruber as well.
Hans Gruber. Can I play as Carl?
Like, if you get like
Officer Carl
John and Gruber, like
Carl as well.
Officer Carl would be good to play as, just running around as Officer Carl.
Yeah, that'd be good. But if they did that, that'd be classic as well. Police Academy. So you could have.
What else could they have? That's
from Police Academy. This might be showing my age, but say.
I mean, I like Police Academy. They're so good.
Could we see like Starship Troopers?
No.
Could we?
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Like Johnny Cohen.
Yeah, like cause that's basically like just basic armor and stuff. Like, could we see?
Do you want kids to really watch the original Starship Troopers?
I mean, could we see Neo appear in it? Like,
wait, the original
the Matrix.
Because we've already had John Wick.
Matrix. There's a new Matrix movie that's coming.
So Matrix could pop in if they want to plug that. Like,
yeah.
I hope not. I don't want to see Neo in another game.
Like, it'd be interesting to see what else they're going to pull out because
that many times.
Was it? When do we got? We got till March. This season goes till mid-March, so it'd be interesting to see what else they try to chuck in for the last few. If there's any other games even as well, or if he's going, even if it's not just this season, if he continues going through seasons following, I feel like he might even just continue still, even though this season ends, he still might introduce. Yeah, the flood.
On your bloody nose.
Like more movies coming out that we could probably see characters for.
Like that's what would be interesting to see.
That'd be cool. If they got Optimus Prime and Megatron.
Oh. Well, that'd be cool. Old school. Oh, but the old school even, like, because the blocky, that might work because they've had the robot before. They had like that Power Rangers knockoff. Maybe we might even see actual Power Rangers. Yeah. Like we could, because he's had knockoff in the past.
Get John McClane a Transformer, I'm buying that shit.
Are you gonna get onto it?
Yeah. John McClane versus Optimus Prime.
We're basically gonna call it here first. We're calling it here first on all these characters, like we do. The way we've been lately, we've been calling a lot of things lately, which has been a very sketchy time for us.
Episode, probably get a whole list of what we think, and then just.
Have they done Gears of War?
No, they haven't yet.
No, I don't think. Well, that was epic. Like that was them back in the Gears 1, 2, and 3.
We might get Batista, Marcus Phoenix in it.
Marcus and Dom, like Well,
that's why I was kind of a bit irked. What?
Oh no, you go.
No, I was just saying I was going to be a bit irked about the Terminator. I was just annoyed about that they didn't actually have actual Arnie as the Terminator. It was just the robot.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I was gonna.
There was complaints about that.
Yeah, well, Gears didn't either. They just had the endoskeleton, I think.
Yeah, it's basically the exact same kind of pack. They just go, we're gonna kind of do. If that's what I said last, like that time, like they're like
copy the same copy and paste.
Yeah, like exactly the same.
Gears had more detail that you could see through it and stuff. But it's not a bad thing. The Terminator in Fortnite is just a bit far-fetched.
Yeah, some of the stuff doesn't make sense. I feel a bit uncomfortable, especially when like it kind of makes sense with the Predator running around with a gun, but when you're like the alien, you're like, and he's like, it just seems a bit out of place even more.
Yeah,
it's like Kratos all over again. It's like Kratos running around with a gun, and then you got the alien like, and then you're shooting, and then the little thing goes, comes out where you're shooting. You're like,
Oh no.
So
bad. Saying before about Batista, you guys have seen the trailer just dropped?
Army of the Dead? I haven't seen the trailer.
I watched it just before because he told me about it, and it looks dope.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Is it a show or a movie?
Movie. Done by Zack Snyder.
Those eyes like, whoa, he's been a busy man.
Yeah, doing the new cut
Justice League.
But it looks like a bit of like Dead Island or like Dead Rising or something like that, like in movie form.
So does that mean he was doing Justice League while he was in Australia doing Army of the Dead? Because that was in Australia being filmed, I'm pretty sure.
Could have been. Could have been.
There's a lot of movies being filmed in Australia.
Well, you think about it, because we've got less restrictions compared to everyone else around the world. It's easy for them to come over here and do productions here on our shore. So everyone's just coming here going, stuff it, why not? And it's great for our economy. So
apparently our sets are better here too. Like we got better.
That's a lot bigger.
We got more areas, places to do so.
You can just go in the middle of nowhere and just film.
You can use like what they did for Thor, like somewhere in Queensland. They just blocked off areas and just.
Well, I can't remember what it was, but they've been filming a Elvis biopic in somewhere in Australia as well.
Yeah, Queensland. And northern New South Wales.
Yeah. Look at that plot of land. They've just built up a little mini town and they've just been filming there. Yeah, basically.
It's like Gold Coast as well. Yeah, Gold Coast and Corumba.
It's crazy. It's like cool.
It'll be interesting. And they did the Rock TV show. That
yes.
Was
oh yeah. That was New South Wales, I think, as well.
Parts of New South Wales, and they were filming up at Redcliffe.
They cut off. I mean, like Australia could be the next big place to make movies. Like the way it's going.
Well, less restrictions. It's not completely shut down. It's you still have to do your quarantine if you come to the country, but once you're good, you're pretty much allowed to classify as integral.
People like us, just like New Zealand, Australia's unique is in like we got open landscapes and that everywhere else doesn't have.
Yeah, it's a lot of brand new areas and there's a lot of set areas.
So I think that Mortal Kombat movie was filmed here as well.
It was.
Yeah, Adelaide. I think it was Adelaide.
That's what I mean,
yeah, Adelaide.
Yeah.
It's just a thing. Like there'll be a lot more movies here in the future.
Oh, definitely. They've done it before. They'll do it again. It's going to be the way it's going to be if they want to get any movies done. Like for this year alone to be out for like next year at least or the year after, they'll be coming here to make movies. So.
Yeah. The new Thor movie that's being filmed here.
I want to try and get any spot I can to be either near a set or try and be on a set. That's my goal. Keep my ears open. Keep my ears and options open.
Yeah. Well, what was that? Yeah, we're in the prime place for it. Like Gold Coast areas open for
I've been trying to listen to what's going on.
There's that what is it? That new sci-fi movie that just came out, Occupation.
Now it's aired in cinemas.
Yeah, made in Australia, and that was filmed in Queensland. Yeah, and the first one was filmed as well. Yeah, it's got a cinema release. Yeah, a lot of films being done in Queensland because we've got like our version of Universal Studios, you could say.
Which is apparently better than some of the US's ones. Like we've got state of the art stuff here. Like
well, that's like you can go straight to Warner Brothers Studio, like Warner Brothers Movie World, like on the Gold Coast, and they actually have actual sets there. They have actual like warehouses where you can film in, and they do it as well. Yeah. And that's I guess the plus side for us having those warehouses for filming in, because people film in them. Like it's crazy.
Well, and the government does do a nice little kickback to say, "Hey, come over. We'll pay you, or we'll give do no tax for it, so it's a lot cheaper."
That's
so
good.
It's a lot of incentive for them to film here. We do like I think the amount of money that they kind of offer for them to come here is like a fraction. Like it's a little bit cheaper, but in the long run, they actually spend a lot more money.
Well, I'll say the revenue booms as well, especially when they like give out their locations. Like that time they did like Narnia and like Prince of Persia, when they're going, oh look, they're filming here, and they had the set there. People go there, it encourages people to go because they want to check it out. But then they're at hot spots as well, so then people are there. They spend the day out. They spend money. They go to the fast food, like, oh, we're going to make a day, but let's go check out the set. Oh, while we're out, might as well go to the beach, or we'll go here, and we'll spend money, and it works great for them because it boosts the economy for that area.
And not just that, it gives jobs to the local people.
That's exactly it as well.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not just for, like, they say, oh...
It helps everyone.
Yeah, it helps out the people that live there. It helps the economy in the sense of keeping people in jobs and working, rather than just sitting on their butt and doing nothing. So it helps out everyone by doing those big budget movies.
And that's exactly it, because I got a family friend as well, and he's a stuntman extra, and he's been on films, and he got to work on that last Pirates of the Caribbean movie. And he's got a nice big scene too in the if you remember the wedding scene in the whale carcass. There's this ginger bloke standing in the background at least, and yeah, it's him. He gets actually have a main shot on scene with Johnny Depp basically, and I'm like, damn, like you can just spot him, like ginger freaking bloke. He looks almost Irish, you know. He's a ginger bloke, and he's just like the biggest ginger beard, and gingerous hair, and it's just like he's right there on scene. Like he's the only bloke. I'm like, damn, that's a great to be able to like be on set there and then, like in that. I'm like, that's exactly it. Like there's so many jobs you can get.
Yeah, no, it's in the next few years we're going to see a lot more films being filmed.
Oh hell yeah.
One place, and if not just Queensland, it's going to be other places in Australia.
Soon it'll be Darwin, Western Australia.
Oh yeah,
different territories, for different scenes.
You can do horrors down here in Tassie. Like, there's been a few horrors done here because it's just creepy. Like, you got the tunnels and all the woods and
well, the amount of times Mad Max has been filmed here, like.
Well, all of them really.
Yeah, and they want to come back and film more eventually, like.
You know, that sequel to Fury Road coming out sometime soon.
And
that just sucks they've changed people.
Let's all try and be an extra in a film that's coming up in the next couple of years.
That's the goal.
I mean, we got plenty of time for it.
I think they need a new Wreckage of Ours. No,
Wreckage of Ours.
Wreckage of Ours.
But yeah, it'll be great to see what's coming out. And it's good that films are still being made.
It's also getting Australian directors out there, because it's a lot of Australian directors making these too.
Yeah. And that's exactly it.
Like
all upcoming Aussie actors and stuff like that, and it's helping.
Like even Australian actors being like smaller roles in those movies still gets their name out there. Like, you know, being in those films. I think it's fantastic for Australians. Like the world loves Australians. I think.
Yeah, I think it's just our accents, to be fair.
Yeah. So free loving and that. I think also next is like Kiwis. They love Kiwis.
Yeah.
Although if it's an American movie, they try and see if Chris Hemsworth. They try and take that out of him, like.
Try to be him, not him.
He's good at comedy as well.
I mean, he is. He does his own accent in some movies, but not much.
No. But I think Chris Hemsworth is really good at comedy as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to mention Actually, no, I will mention Ghostbusters. Recent Ghostbusters. It was actually pretty. He was
He's
actually
got a
his
solid sense of humor.
timing was actually pretty good. Like, he's good at that. And I think like all the other instances where he has done comedy, like even with the Marvel films, it's just spot on.
Yeah, well, he does so well.
Yeah, yeah.
So good. That's why I'm so keen for the next one.
Yeah.
Probably the best Marvel movie.
Works with too.
Yeah. Oh, he's so good.
I'm just thinking now. Does that mean Taika Waititi is going to be directing more movies?
Possibly. Yes. And that's why we're going to get to that point when we get our episode where we discuss movies at some point.
He's got to do another. Who's doing the next Thor? Is it Taika?
Yeah, he's doing. Yeah,
he's doing it.
Ooh, I'm keen.
Taika Waititi's Thor: Love and Thunder.
That's the one they're filming right now in Queensland. No, Sydney.
Sydney, Highlands and stuff. Yeah.
Sydney and Queensland, like it's all those celebs are buying property in Byron. Right?
Oh yeah, they're all moving to Byron. Like we had bloody who was it? Was it Matt Damon or something? Who was it?
Matt Damon just bought property.
We got Matt Damon. We've got who else has been? Zac Efron's been here for a while. He's actually been touring around Australia in his little caravan while filming.
I think he bought property as well at Byron.
He bought property, and then he's got a caravan, and he's just been like touring around Australia while he's been doing filming for stuff. It's just like, what the hell? Like everyone's like living up in him. It's gonna get to the point where we're gonna be able to like, even if it's not just Byron, like just go anywhere. Like they're gonna be like, you're gonna be able to come across an American actor. Like soon enough. It's just like they're gonna be here because acting's becoming a big thing here, like more and more, like with movies. We're gonna see more of them.
Here, though. It just it wasn't as big as now.
It's gonna grow a lot more for us.
I think Byron's a good spot as well because it's still remote.
It's not far either from here, realistically.
No, it's not, and it's like it's still close for them to like film in Queensland, for example.
Yeah.
Like for Universal, so they can just hop on a helicopter and just fly straight up, and they'll be there in like what minutes.
Yeah.
Whatever, how long? I don't own a helicopter. I don't know how long they fly.
Helicopters are pretty damn quick. Like.
Yeah. I've had one helicopter ride.
I
think it's to.
Talking about helicopters ride made me think of something.
Hoover Dam.
Yeah. Helicopter ride.
Yeah, helicopters ride kind of on the nose at the moment. I don't know if you have. I know you haven't watched WandaVision. Jim, have you? No, you haven't. Have you watched WandaVision?
Not the latest ones.
There's a little weird touch on the nose, I say, because WandaVision would have been filmed presumably, like I'm guessing last year. We lost. The world lost Kobe at the start of. Was it 2019? 2020?
Yeah. 2020. Yeah, so, it was 2020.
The start of 2020. I'm not too sure. Okay, so I don't want to go too much into it though, but there's a little scene. I don't know if that was intentional or if it was. I don't know when. I don't know when WandaVision was filmed. But we all know that. Weird segue talking about helicopters. But we do know the incident that happened with Kobe. With that going down. There's a little scene I was curious about that I saw in WandaVision. You see on a billboard, like on this TV in the sword. You'll see it when you watch the latest episode. There's a sword scene, and there's a screen up on the board, and it has family reunion, because you know how the blip happened and then like everyone come back. So it had up on the screen says family reunited, like after the talking about families after the blip had happened, families reunited, and one of the screen they showed that when it says families reunited, it was Kobe, his daughter, and his wife, and I was like. Ooh. Were they? Did they have this plan beforehand? And I'm like, with the recent accident of the helicopter crash, are they kind of using that a little bit as being like, was that a blip incident? Like, I'm like, that's just how my brain was running. I'm like, it's kind of weird.
No
and I'm like,
been talking about it.
No, and I don't know if anyone really paid attention to it. And I noticed that. I'm like, ooh, and my brain was like, are they kind of making this like a blip incident? You'll see it in the sword agency. You'll see the monitor as Wanda's walking through the sword agency on the latest episode, and you'll see a screen.
Is it actually him, Kobe?
Yes, it's actual screenshot of him and his daughter and wife in a shot. I don't know what video they took it from, but then on the bottom it says family reunited, and I was like, I wonder if that's. I was like, I don't know if this was intentional. I don't know if this was filmed before, and we've only because it's now releasing now through like maybe they'd filmed everything ages ago, but it's releasing now. Like I don't know if it's something that's been viewed and realized that this is happening. And I'm like, I'm wondering if we take that in real essence, did that crash count as a blip? Like, I'm like, oh, this is like,
disrespectful.
Yeah, I'm like, is this? I'm like, what's going on here?
To have it in there.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not.
I mean,
like,
they could have edited that out if it's intentional. They could have changed it.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know if it's been passed. I don't know if they realized. I don't know if anyone's realized. I'm like, to me, I'm like, that's a bit touchy. It's a bit too soon to show.
They would have had to.
I don't know whether he was paid to be in the movie and that was like a thing they already planned ahead. Like, that's it. I don't know if it was a skipped thing because like the jeans guy in Star Wars, The Mandalorian, like how that got passed over and it wasn't until the meme spread and then it happened. Like it's a really quick scene, like because it's out of the scene. Like you got thing going on down here, you see it on the background up there for a quick scene and it's gone. And I was like, oh, I was like, is that Coben and Ivory one? I'm like, oh, okay. And I was like thinking about it. I was like, oh, I'm like, I don't know what they're going for. I'm like, we may hear an issue coming out from that if people start getting onto it.
So why Kobe though?
Well, that's exactly it. And I'm like, is this, if they're using Kobe, is it because they're making reference to that? And I'm like, ooh,
but then why reunited and have the whole family? I'm like,
well, yeah, because it's like, what's the plane? Well, they're making reference like the plane crash kind of existed in the universe, but it was a blip incident. Because you think about when the blip incident happened was kind of around this kind of time period, and then 5 years later was the reunited, everyone coming back. So it kind of like.
I like a bit.
At all.
And I don't know if it just happens to be a coincidence. I don't know, but I'm waiting to see if we hear anything about it because I haven't heard anything about it yet. The episode only just came out yesterday, so it's still very fresh.
It would have been on it straight away.
Yeah,
it varies.
I think it's like a matter of bad timing because it's still way too soon to do that.
Yeah, and that's what I was like, oh, I was like, I'm gonna mention that.
It could have been like an afterthought, in the sense of they had it in there, but no one realized that was still in there.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's why I'm like,
You just won't realize, and not until someone says anything, then I'll have to
we've said it now.
Yeah, we've said it. Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see what happens if anything else comes up on the news.
Just tweet it, see what happens, get a couple.
We might want to probably message whoever runs that Marvel account or something, and just say,
take some screenshots.
You know that's in there.
Yeah, actually, you gotta like go back to it and make sure it is.
Yeah, it could be LeBron.
It could have just been someone, named Kobe. That isn't.
Wait, would they have a name or just them?
It just showed them. And I was like, because I looked at it I'm like, what? The Kobe?
So maybe, it's 50-50 then?
Yeah, so I'd go back and watch it and
well, I've seen the episode twice and my brain's immediately thought Kobe twice, so.
You have a picture there of him and just compare him?
I actually might quickly Google it.
In this day of age, you gotta watch what you say because cancel culture is.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
It's
Cancel culture can suck my dick.
Oh, there's a link. The third search down. Kobe Bryant, WandaVision. Marvel's WandaVision has a few. No one's got anything so far with it. 3 days ago.
Unless someone else already pointed it out.
It's probably not then. If no one's on it.
Yeah.
Because there would have been hardcore fans who analysed episodes, and they would have spotted it. And they would have been all over it on Twitter.
Oh, it gets weird. Sometimes people see things, sometimes people don't. I don't know.
Are you seeing things?
Do I have to get a Disney Plus account just to double check this? Does everyone have to get a Disney Plus account to make sure this is?
I'm not supporting that.
Just a sponsorship from Disney Plus. Come back for more, sponsored by Disney Plus. No.
Yeah, but I was like, But I'll have to find the thing if I can find a screenshot. If it's still, I'll have to get a screenshot of it.
It's just weird how if they did it. It's just a bit.
I was like,
disrespectful. Kind of, in a way.
It could be coincidental that there's accident left in because I didn't think about it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It could be an afterthought. It could be like, alright, it was convenient enough to do it then. And then when they realised it got premiered, no one had any thoughts about it because it didn't come to mind.
Maybe people didn't want to get too delved into it because of spoilers. I don't know. Like.
Yeah, that could have been one thing.
It's not really a spoiler though, is it?
No, not really. There's stuff to the scene, but we've already kind of seen some of it previously in episodes. I was like, so I don't want to delve. That's why I don't want to get too involved in the episode, but.
But also think of it this way: it is a fictional universe. They can put in whatever they want. They could make it that Princess Diana didn't die, or she was a mutant. Or,
well, that's exactly it. It's always been like one of those things.
But that's not recent though.
Who knows?
But people will be out there going, "Oh, Kobe still exists in the Marvel universe, but not now." Oh, no.
Yeah. It's that could have been their fault as well. That could have been if it is actually it. It could have been like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a play on the whole essence that like I guess I was saying like the whole helicopter crash. In there, I guess if it was to be passed over into that universe, it was actually a blip incident. Like that was the whole thing they could have been referencing to, but it is in a weird grey area.
Yeah. Give it a week, people might tweet about it.
I'll put it.
I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up later.
In a fantasy world such as Marvel, it is nice to know that all our heroes are still living, doing well.
Yeah.
In a nice art form. Whether that be like, you know,
except for Mr.
Captain
Stank.
America living out his life with Peggy Carter, or Kobe still alive with his child,
and Tony Stank dead.
Yeah, and Tony Stank. Or he's, you know, still living in an alternate universe, because there is the Marvel What If that's coming.
He is being in the multiverse, isn't he? In some
form. I think it's
apparently
it's not him. It's a flashback with him in it. So
yeah, and it was. I think there's Captain America. He is coming back in some form.
Is that a main thing or just like flashbacks? Or...
No, apparently main.
No,
possibly.
No,
because he did die.
Well, yeah, and also Black Panther.
Well, he lived old, remember? So
he can't unless you don't take his mask off.
Well, the Black Panther's been passed over.
Yeah, it's been passed over. But the actor that actually played Black Panther, before he passed away, he actually did a lot of voice dialogue.
Oh yeah.
So we will actually have him back in his form. Like he'll be like officially his last appearance as Black Panther.
Well, I mean, being that too, if they have certain audio, they could always have a guy in a suit and use audio dialogue like he's talking, but it's someone else standing in a pose kind of thing as well.
Oh yeah. We can do that already. Like, we've done it in Star Wars how many times with Carrie Fisher.
I just don't want it like Fast and Furious, because it didn't look right in there.
Well, it has his brothers,
Tell. Well, I can't wait for the Snyder cut and see what he does about the Superman Mo.
I think
Oh, what? He took the Mo out?
No. But you know the original story of the.
Remember how the Mo was barely photoshopped out with the bad lip?
Photoshopped in. I'm just wondering what he's gonna do with the Snyder cut. How he's like, you know, what he's gonna do with that CGI Mo.
He's gonna get
Cavill back and say, "Hey, can you just redo these scenes, please? It looks better without the CGI."
Yeah, but he's not doing Superman anymore, is he? Didn't he get fired?
No.
I keep hearing stuff where he's like, "Oh, come back as Superman," or because like he's doing Witcher now.
Yeah, because I saw Angry Joe make a video this morning, and Superman's gone. Like they've got to get in someone else, and
no, that won't be happening.
Well, they said that about Batman as well.
Batman's now Robert Pattinson.
That's a different universe altogether, though.
Yeah, they're working on the whole universe angle. Ever since, DC, they did it with the Flash.
He's got his movie coming.
That's why I like DC. They have so many different, like Marvel, they're consistent. Everything's connected. DC's got people here, Batman here, Batman there.
Joker over there, yeah.
Like, this new Joker looks way different than the Suicide Squad, but it's just Jared Leto, like...
Well, there's so many different versions of the Joker. They've got their own version, which had Wookie and Phoenix, and they've got two different versions of Well, that's exactly
Jared Leto's doing...
And then you got two different versions of Jared Leto's, but it's just like, what did they... There's so many different stuff going on.
Well, remember that you can always do it two things. It was, well, actually, there's three things. One, time travel. Two, alternate universe. Or three, a wizard did it.
A wizard did it.
I remember that Simpsons episode, it was like, and the crossing, and why didn't they? Yes, and a wizard did it.
Yeah, but I'm interested to see if this Leto Joker has a personality from the Suicide Squad, because that was a good one. Like his personality.
Well, he's supposed to be basically the same. He's just a different look and a different, not as gangster anymore. Like he's kind of more post-apocalyptic because it's set in that setting.
He's more road weary. They put it.
Yeah.
Like I think.
Witness me.
I think he's going to be like a little bit of a tired joke in the sense of like
he's a flashback.
He wanted chaos, he wanted destruction, all that kind of stuff. But now he's got it. He's kind of like, you know, when a kid gets all the toys he wants, and he just kind of goes, okay, what do I do now? So it might be that type of Joker where he's like, he's gotten all his death destruction, but it's like, what do I do now?
Did you watch the actual trailer? The new Joker though, like he's in a SWAT
long hair
vest. He's in a SWAT vest with a gun, talking to Batman. Like it's in a flashback, like
working with him, or he's going to work with him or something.
Yeah. So I'm like,
well, I think in that universe, if I remember, it was ruled by Superman. Superman was like rule evil, and then people had to take him down.
Joker couldn't do shit to Superman. Jesus.
No, but that's the thing. Everyone's trying to team together, good and evil. Everyone's just trying to get together because what's the point if we've got Superman ruling everything? No one can get what they want or need or do anything because Superman rules everything. So they're on a.
I've heard bloody Joker's not in that movie, like in the Suicide Justice League. He's in a flashback with Batman. He's not
well, that's an alternate. Well, it's a flashpoint. That whole thing's a flashpoint, alternate reality.
Yeah, it's in the future.
Scenario where it's like other DC. If you've watched all the animated series, you've got different alternate universes and dimensions, different scenarios. Have villains working with heroes because it comes down to the whole the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Exactly.
Scenario. And you've got that, but also it's kind of like, what's the point if there's no good or evil? Well, like you've got one enemy who's like, I do it for the money. There's no point of money. What's the point of doing it now? You have to pick up another mantle. So with Joker, it would just be like, well, I do.
He's kind of neutral though, really. Like he can either
neutral
way.
Chaos,
yeah.
Well, it was like one universe where it's like the reason why the Joker did half the things that he did was to make Batman laugh.
Yeah.
It was like it was just a joke to him. It was just for the sake of it. There was no Batman without the Joker. There was no Joker without the Batman.
Exactly.
Which is kind of true because when you watch, Batman was referenced in that Joaquin Phoenix Joker, wasn't he? Like he was in
Bruce
there
Wayne, yeah.
Is that going to be like Affleck or Pattinson in like that sequel? Or
well, they're possibly thinking people are hoping it would be Patterson, but it might not be though. People were wanting it to be Patterson.
That movie is like stopped or something. Like,
well, yeah, it got delayed with COVID stuff and people breaking. Who did Patterson break a bone or something? Or was it stuff? Someone hurt themselves and they had delays.
It would be nice if DC did a little consistency, just like Marvel.
At least start trying to tie things together, where it could be like Joaquin leads in with like that version because he's a different version of the Joker anyway. Like it's a different character name.
He's not really the Joker.
And then like
but he's
tied
all face paint and green hair, and he's just a normal person.
He did end up doning that. He did end up having the paint there.
Oh yeah, but like that was he didn't really go into it. He right at the end, like.
But it'd be cool if the tie of it was kind of like that Joker movie tied in with having Bruce Wayne young, and then that young Bruce Wayne was like the Robert Pattinson, and then the Robert Pattinson kind of grew up to be older, which then being the Ben Affleck, and then like the other Joker is like a different kind of pass on the mantle. Like at least we get some kind of tying in. But
can I just ask, have you seen the DC or the DC Flash, right? They've linked the DC movies with the DC TV series.
Yeah.
They had that crossover episode where it's like they had Flash from
the Flashpoint, like actual. Yeah, he appeared in the Flash. He shows up in the Flash.
Yeah, he shows
Barry,
up.
like that Barry Allen met the other, like the Flash TV Barry Allen met the movie Barry Allen. Yeah, I remember seeing that.
It had that link.
Oh, and
that's why they had like that crossover, a huge crossover event. And it was fantastic. Like when they met the Batman from a different universe, and it was the voice actor who did the animated Batman.
Yes, exactly. They had him, and he was like, and it was actually cool to actually see him as Batman, like.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they had the crossover with Clark Kent from Smallville.
Yeah, Clark Kent from Smallville. They also had the Robin from the original
Tom Welling.
Batman and Robin. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that was really cool. Like that was a big Flashpoint event. That was.
Yeah,
that was dope.
It's fun to do that.
I was gonna say, thinking about it though, Flash in the DC is kind of like Flash always been Flashpoint with the multiverse there, and then Marvel's had Spider-Man with the multiverse. Like it's weird.
Yeah.
Like they've had their own characters do things that kind of had multiple versions of themselves, tie everything together.
But Marvel has been, no one liked Andrew Garfield. No one liked his ones at all. Like those movies are trash, really.
Well,
which is weird because Jamie Foxx coming back, apparently coming back.
Yeah.
Well, apparently they're going to do the multiverse thing, the new Spider-Man.
Yeah, but then who was it? Tom Holland said like there's no Tobey Maguire or Garfield.
But no, he's not to spoil anything.
Yeah,
but
he spoils everything, and
I would say
they fake information just to kind of.
Well, they did that with the latest trailer reveal that they did. And they didn't just do it to him. They gave it to Zendaya and what's his name as well? I keep forgetting his name.
I don't even
so
know
you could double as him, Shaven.
Well,
damn.
He looks like Ned. He could pull off a Ned.
Ricky Gervais out. Why does that?
Actually, I can actually see that.
he could pull it off. Now out of me and Jim, who's going to be Zendaya and who's going to be Tom Holland?
I don't know. Oh, it's hard to tell. But actually,
I'm too muscly for Spider-Man. I'm too stocky for Spider-Man.
We'll put a wig on both ears, and we'll see
who pulls it off better. Yeah.
Who pulls it off.
But like that, like the perfect little thing there. So there was like that got shared around. So they all had their own little intro, like the poster kind of title card thing. They had all their own little postal, and they like post on Twitter, Instagram. They all kind of posted all over the place, which is a cool little thing. And then that little teaser was like, you know, why are we doing this thing with the names and stuff? It's like, because you leak stuff all the time. It's like, what do you mean I leak stuff? It's like, you know. And then they had the whole cut through.
Serious.
It's nice to make a joke about it, but apparently they've got it down pat now. So
yeah.
He gets parts of the script, he gets the read, and he doesn't get all the information. And when they do it they'll kind of say, all right, you got to do this part. He doesn't know what everything else is happening. He just gets all the script, he gets parts.
And it works because they know he's able to pull it off. So.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how he talks about everything. Like,
he's just too excited. He's a kid. He just gets excited and he just like he does. Like he'll post things where I don't know where it's, like we don't even know half the time if it's intentional or not. But he'll like he's doing things like we're in this thing. And he's flipping through things and he's like telling information that he's not taught to be talking about. Like, what are you doing, kid? Like,
When he did the what was it? The Infinity War, not Infinity War, but you know for the Avengers movie.
Yeah.
He did the junket where he was doing the interviews.
Yeah, he just mentioned stuff.
They had the team them up.
They all die. Everyone dies.
Yeah,
I guess it's like we get it from the comics, but like you didn't have to say in the movie that everyone dies. Like,
yeah.
Like, oh my god.
It was funny to see those interview bits.
Because you could generally see like he mentioned it like he shouldn't have, and he goes, like he like had to back up on it. He's like, and that just made it even worse.
Anyway.
Yeah.
It's just you see the expression on the person's face right next to him saying you've just given it away.
But
I mean,
yeah.
No Marvel movies really got surprises anymore. Like you know what's gonna happen just from the previous movie. Like,
well, not just that, because there's several comics. By the time you get enough information, you kind of can piece it together and say, all right, it's out of this comic. It's out of this comic. Like WandaVision, they're saying it's like it's from House of M and so on. So
there's all kinds of stuff. There's some pretty good stuff though. That what they're going for now.
Good inspiration. The thing they'll do is the thing I've noticed they're doing is like grabbing bits of comics. So you'll go, all right, when someone theorizes about, like for example, WandaVision, they'll go, it's a bit of it's House of M. But it's like it's that, and it's also this one.
Well, I was gonna say, if you haven't watched anyone watched the latest episode, definitely wait for after the credits.
I've never watched.
Definitely wait for after the credits. So
next week is the last episode.
So what are we up to?
9.
No, not us.
Next week.
No, that is 9 for them, I think.
It's 9 for us next week as well. Is it 9?
No, 9 this week.
No, this week. We're ahead of them. Oh, we're ahead of WandaVision! Suck it!
No, we're the same. They're on 9 this week.
Are they? Oh. Well, we're the same. We're on par with WandaVision.
But yeah, and then it's Falcon and Winter Soldier.
No, we can't be on par.
They had the 5 episodes in January then.
They had 2 to start off with.
Oh, they
2 episodes.
So technically, if it was going by a week, it'd be on episode 8. So we'd technically be ahead of them if they did. Because they released 2 episodes at the start.
Wait, didn't you guys
I'll watch it when it comes out on DVD.
What was that?
Didn't you guys have 2 episodes in like the first week as well?
No. No, we was on the 2nd and the 30th. We had like 5 episodes.
Okay. Yeah.
It was weird.
We got 4 episodes this month then.
And I also found out, Des, our first episode, 30th of April last year.
30th of April?
Nice.
So end of April is our anniversary, our 1-year anniversary. We'll have to have a big episode for that one.
I don't believe you. 30th of April.
Nice. He's got the notes.
Get a cake.
Get a cake. We'll have to have a cake on stream. We'll both have a cake each.
Yeah.
Whether it's a Woolworths or a Coles cake. And yeah, we'll just have to face smash our face into the cake at the end of the episode.
And do a podcast with cake face.
Oh, I mean, we could do the whole episode, or we could just eat cake through the episode. I don't know, we'll figure it out.
I was about to say, get exactly the same cake, and then each of you just cut it in half, and then you both have half a piece each. Like, you can have your screens, and it's just like links.
We can hold it in the middle and be like, oh, we can separate it.
Oh. And then it just separates. Goes, the magic of television.
We could. That'd be great. Well, we've been going all over the place here. We've been going crazy. We're now an hour into this episode. We're gonna have an extra long episode, I think. We didn't want to, but it's gonna happen. We can't do anything about that. But we'll get to the halfway point. Before we get any further, I didn't have a chance to even ask you what would be some things to get to know ShavenWookie a little bit more.
I'm an Aquarius. I like long walks in the beach.
So one of the questions we had here. So we asked Jody these questions as well. So the first question would be, what got you into gaming?
It's probably the quote vein. It was I was born into it. Where Billy I was shaped and born into it. I was born in a pit of despair and gaming, and grew up on Atari 64s and Game Boys and
good old days.
Yeah, Nintendos and Sega Mega Drives and Sega Genesises. So it's like I am PC, but I grew up on console. But as soon as I got a PC, I was like in love because it's a multi-function device. That's the great thing.
Oh yeah.
You can literally we're doing this on Discord and it's on the PC and I literally at the same time I can have like screen set up. I watch YouTube. I play games at the same time. That's why I'm PC. Consoles are great, but that's just me.
It can't exactly work on a console.
No.
Yeah, and some of the more interesting, like great games on console. Growing up on PlayStation, Final Fantasy VII, that was my jam. Metal Gear Solid was a fantastic game. PlayStation games. I played PlayStation. Resident Evil, all those games. That's fantastic. But I played like old school PC games like Cannon Fodder, like Fallout 1 and 2. They were like my favorite one because they were just like games that you just wouldn't go like. This is an RPG. I'm used to playing tabletop D&D with friends, but now I can actually literally see everything that I want to do. Do exactly what I want, like especially Fallout games that are absolutely hilarious. Like you would have a special encounter where you'd run across, Doctor Who's actual TARDIS or something like that, and that'd be like, holy, this is fantastic. Or like a crashed shuttle from Star Trek, and you can actually pick up a phaser and use it, and find hypos and heal yourself with it in the game. It's like this is a special encounter that you would have in like Fallout 1 and 2, like isometric view. Another one was like you run into the Knights of Ni from Monty Python, and you just wouldn't have games like that. Yeah, it was fantastic. That's why I love those classic ones, and that's why like when you play something like Fallout New Vegas, they purposely put those encounters in there as well. Like you would run into the fridge from Indiana Jones, where you'd open it up, there would be a dead body in there with like a little hat. So you go, all right, that's cool, but it wasn't as good as some of the old school stuff. But that's just showing my age because a lot of old school stuff it was real pop cultural, and now these days to get something pop culture is like you have to pay for it and buy a skin, which is kind of a terrible thing. It should be embedded in the game as like a fun.
Not like rewards or something like that for finding something and being like, boom, you found this thing, you unlock something.
The reward itself should be finding. Like for example, like Skyrim is fantastic. Spent hours.
That I'd say many.
Oblivion as well. Like, but I'm just saying, like nowadays I play FPS. A lot of FPS, like COD, mainly a lot of Escape from Tarkov. That's my jam. I've been playing it pretty much ever since it's been offered to the public. Played it from the start. Veteran, but still like that's my jam. But I'm PC. Still like console, grew up on that, but PC's my jam, and it's only on pretty much FPS. RPGs.
I mean, I wish RPGs were made like they used to be.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
they were so so much depth.
They're not just
Now you got to buy your way through it. Like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you could buy your way through it. Like for $30, you could progress up to what, level 50 or something. Like
it's
boost your levels. Yeah.
I played World of Warcraft when it first came out, and it was great to have that feeling. Oh my god, this is amazing, massive world. But now it just feels like if I want to jump in, I just open up the credit card.
That's definitely I'll say that irks me the most with Ubisoft, for example, with like Assassin's Creed stuff like that, where you used to unlock your way and you'd find things, but now it's like, oh, if you want to be able to find all the unlocks, pay $5 and we'll give you the thing to like basically a cheat code that will reveal everything for you. It's just like you used to just have that in games, like you could actually buy that in game with game currency. Why am I now having to the point where I have to spend real money if I want to get that extra boost? Like it's a bit weird.
But we're finding little things like that. Great, some games still do it. Fantastic games like Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption and GTA, Rockstar games still have that little thing where it's like, oh my god, I just found an Easter egg, and it just keeps rolling and leading to something else.
Red Dead 2 has a lot of Easter eggs in it from Red Dead 1 and a lot of other similar games. Like they got random ones in there.
Well, I'd say especially with those games too, with Rockstar.
Off the top of my head, but...
I'll say they actually reward you though as well. Like if you did their collection of like finding little Easter eggs or doing all their collect so many things, you actually got a reward out of like when you did the spaceship stuff. You collect all that and you got the car at the end of it. Like just actually say, hey, you did all these things, or fly through all the bridges. You got something at the end of it. Like you actually got reward, not just an achievement. You got an item to actually to show up and say like, hey, look, I actually did the thing.
Yeah.
And that's the cool part about it. Like games like that need more of that for sure.
There are some like. I'm not a Sony fanboy, but their games, they're exclusives. They're mainly you find stuff in game like God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us. They're like games of old, like they're built from the 90s, early 2000s. You can unlock everything through the game.
Yes, and that's exactly it. Not those microtransactions, just ridiculous. But
like,
I remember
some microtransactions, if they do it for a good cause. For example, Arma 3 just released a Art of War Arma 3 DLC, and all donations, anyone like who buys the DLC, all donations of that go to the Red Cross. That's fantastic.
Oh, Jim's frozen. No, there's back. Oh no, we having a hiccup here. Jim, you there?
Yep. A few moments later.
Yep, he's back. He actually didn't just freeze. I could see him moving when he was breathing and stuff. Then he actually froze. He was like he didn't breathe.
I saw that.
And we had the little like even yourself were like oh no, is it happening? But going on from that, I was going to say what's a good little talking about games. I'll say the other thing was what are your top 3 game recommendations?
Number 1, Escape from Tarkov.
Yep.
Number 2, Escape from Tarkov. Number 3, Escape from Tarkov. No, let's be real. But yeah, definitely number 1 is my family, Escape from Tarkov. What do you mean in some context? You mean of all time, or just
whatever you guys say of all time? Maybe we kind of went with like what you kind of recommend, or games. Well, it's basically what you recommend. I guess in general, what would you? It's basically your recommendation, like top 3 recommendations of something you'd say people should get into.
Introduced to a new gamer, like play these 3, like.
Oh yeah, definitely yeah.
Like any game they could choose from, like any games that you can think of to choose from. What would
Tarkov definitely. Tarkov. The new Baldur's Gate when it's done.
Yep.
It seems pretty good, but it's not as good as
not for the price.
Yeah, well I know it's.
I feel like the game of people are limited.
If you heard what I said, it's like when it's done. Hopefully, because what they did release
the founder's price.
Yeah.
$90.
I feel like a big founder's price.
It's like if you're gonna get the new Call of Duty, that's pretty much the same.
Yeah, but the game's not done though. Like $90 for.
They should have offered like a discount price, like they do with most like early access.
Early access, yeah, it should be just big discount.
But they're basing off that. Oh, we're top rated, which we get it. But like they should have done a special promotion to buy it while it's in if you miss that window, tough cookies, tough shitties.
Tough cookies.
you got to be very careful on which games you choose, especially like, for example, if you're going to say Star Citizen, that's a very dicey, conversation right there. Whether it's a like at the moment, it looks fantastic, but still, like they promised a whole bunch of things in the last 5 years that they haven't delivered at all, pretty much.
There's a few people that do that. That's another segment we'll get onto in a sec.
Yeah, wildcard.
Yeah. So essentially, the 2 games so far I've recommended are still like, buy now, we'll hopefully have it fully done later.
I mean, Tarkov has the content there. Like, that's underpriced, if you know what I mean. Like, they could charge a bit more for Tarkov.
Well, the way they're doing it is because, like, you can still earn everything in game. You've got like a certain stash, like, amount of room that you can keep all your equipment in. And then when you put more money in, it does increase. But then also you get more starting equipment, so it's kind of it's. I think one complaint was like, oh, it's pay more and then you get better stuff. That's pay to play right there. And it's like, no, it isn't. It's because Tarkov is in the sense of you could have the best gear, but you can get taken out by someone with a pistol or grenade.
Especially if you stream it.
Yeah.
As Flak had happened.
Yes.
No, I want to get Tarkov.
Yeah. But if I did have to recommend going back to old school RPGs, I would probably recommend, if you haven't played like the original Fallout 1 and 2, I'd probably recommend playing those games.
Yep.
Because
they only come in a bundle now.
Well, yeah.
They're pretty cheap, like $10, I think.
Yeah, I got them in my list. I got them cheap.
So if you want to experience kind of an old school, like for some people, the graphics, who like graphics, it's a little bit dated, but the experience, and even though it's turn-based, kind of like point and click, it's kind of something. It's going back. You have to sometimes go back to experience something that's now, see the distance.
Yeah.
It's like, sure, you can play something like Half-Life Alyx, and it would be fantastic. Whole experience is like you're literally playing VR, but you got to realize that where that came from is like you got to go play the original Fallout, Half-Life games, and then so on and so forth. If you're going to play anything recent, like any RPG games, you have to
bit of history.
A bit of history behind it.
Go back to Hexplore and stuff like that. That was
yeah. If like
2000 or 90s or something like.
If you're going to play the latest Call of Duty game, at least go back and play Modern Warfare, please. It's like classics like that you.
Or Medal of Honor.
Yeah, Medal of Honor. Yeah, classic Medal of Honor. Like
that's probably the best FPS like from then, like PS3, 360, Medal of Honor, beat COD. Like, and now it's just
really
doesn't
want
exist.
to play the new VR version, VR game. Have you seen it?
Oh, I have. It's PC only, and I haven't got it.
Yeah. Sadly enough, a lot of people. Because I'm already PC. I can say it's got to be our time, and it is. Generally, is a lot of people.
I won't put it out. I wouldn't be surprised if it's on PS5 VR when that comes out, like, because the tech they're using uses your whole hand, so you can probably hold a gun and throw the grenades back and whatever they do.
But the reason why I think it probably should be played on the PC though is it does it's a lot of power in that game. You'd have to load graphics a lot to have it playing decently. It's you'll chew for
Windows.
I don't know why I'm getting myself distracted. I like listening to you guys talking, but I've been duck facing this whole time. It just looks so funny. I'm just sitting going. I'm just laughing at myself like, oh god,
there's always Easter eggs like that.
Oh god, I'm sorry.
I was just looking at your face like, why are you laughing?
I'm like, what?
Yeah, because he's talking, I'm listening to he's talking, and I'm just going,
I'm gonna have another drink of my blackened whiskey.
Well, have another drink. We'll go through some of the stuff we had. So, talking about things that aren't never finished and never will be finished, a good thing was that is the Anthem 2.0 update gets the axe and ceases development for BioWare to focus on Dragon Age and Mass Effect. Like, jeez.
It
is a smart move. I think they should have realized that a lot earlier. and not just dragged it out for so long. They should have made the executive decision early on and said, hey, sorry, this is the issue. Not dragged it on for basically, what, how many years now? Like 2 years, something like that?
Oh, one really.
Year and a half, you know, yeah. And actually just gone, okay, this is what's happening, we're sorry, like, we already gave a full game. Like, the game is a full game. Not what they promised, but it is a full game. You can do what you could in that game. There is stuff there. It's just not what they promised.
It is fun, but you need more variation. You need
and that's
more
exactly it.
things to do. That's pretty much it.
I feel like
and move on.
I realistically felt the smarter option, instead of working on this big massive patch update to change the game, they should have just made a second game. Would have been maybe more smarter, because you look at how games go, they have an idea what they want to do, they release the game. Well, that's exactly, but that's the thing. That's what one thing that gets me these days is people want to keep improving what they've got currently. Like, here's what we want to offer. You didn't like that meal we gave you. Let's add some more to it. It's like, well, how games used to do things. You had what you wanted to do. Like going from like Halo, for example. They did what they did. They wanted to do certain stuff. They couldn't do it, but they had ideas for stuff. So then what they did was they made the second game and put in stuff that they wanted to do. And they go, oh, we like doing these things and we want to do it, so let's put that in the third game. Like, what happened to games doing that? Like they used to. Companies used to do
games took less time to make back then. Like now it's like 3 years minimum.
But like they basically put all that effort in basically to make a new game to replace the current game. They could have just done like, let's actually make Anthem 2. Let's do all the things that we wanted to do and just put it into a new game. Like,
I think it's just more content. Like they weren't reworking
the whole game was meant to be the graphics are the same, but the whole game was meant to be a massive overhaul. It was the whole game was basically changing. Apparently, everything was changing entirely. It was going to be completely different.
With it. Like, I didn't see a problem. It's just I played for a couple hours.
And that's what got me the most out of the whole thing. I feel like if they were to do it, it should have just been a sequel. Just gone, sorry, we made this mistake with this first game. Here's a sequel to continue on from what we had for the idea. Now that whole universe is just dead altogether now. They may come back to it,
dead,
but
I wouldn't say it's gone, but it'll probably be after Dragon Age and Mass Effect.
Well, I was saying that, so they're coming back to that. So now, at least I guess they're what the other thing was that doing Dragon Age, they're focusing more on the single player again and making it exclusively single player, which should have been the focus from the get go, being that's what those games are. Not trying to go with that whole the whole money thing. Mass Effect going from where they changed from where they kind of went a bit weird with Andromeda. From I never fully played it, but there was issues with that, and they're trying to.
Andromeda was not bad.
Correct what they.
That was the graphics that were and the bugs that killed that. Like, I've seen
very hit and miss. Yeah.
I think the only thing that ruined Mass Effect for me was the three beams of light ending.
It was a bit cheesy. It felt like everything you did meant nothing basically when it came to the end. It's like you did all these things like, oh, now it's 3 beams of light. It's like what?
Choice.
You only got 3 choices. Like it should have been like if it had like 10 choices, okay, you know, or 10 outcomes, like, or if it was the 3 different outcomes, like not just to choose. You could do everything you wanted to, and then just made a choice, and the choices were the exact like you know.
Yeah, if you've got that, then there's no point making the game.
Like the choices should have been. I feel like if you had 3 choices, like if you did everything you did, and then your 3 choices at the end were different based upon what you had done, that would have been cool. You know, then you had 3 choices to choose from, so each 3 choices were going to be different depending on how you played. That would have been a smart idea, but just being like, oh no, here's just the 3 set choices. Didn't matter if you were an arse through the whole series. You could have been good through the whole series, and then it's like, you know, you can choose to be, oh, I was happy, you know. And
I'll sum it up. If you died, right, it doesn't matter if you've gone out, murdered 100 people, come back, you died, you go to heaven. God's there with 3 cups, and he's like, choose which one. And he starts shaking them out and goes, which one? One goes to heaven, one goes to hell, one goes back down. And it's like, that's essentially what choice you've got. You've just like chosen what 3 cups, and then you get the choice and you drink one, and it's like heaven, hell, or reincarnation. That's essentially what they've given you. So it doesn't matter whatever you've done in the game. And which cheapens the entire experience. It's like some people can say it's not the destination, it's the journey. And it's like, well, yes, that's fine, but your consequences should have actions.
Exactly. Not just like, oh, I choose to be good. Like it's like, oh, look, I killed everyone. I'm going to choose to go to heaven. It's like, no, you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. Like you were a fucking retard for the whole thing. Like you're an ass. You killed everyone. You should not be going to heaven. You know.
That's exactly like Cyberpunk though. That was options. Nope.
Oh, they gutted that game so much.
Like I finished it 3 times, and nothing you do in the game matters at all, really, except one little thing. That's about it.
But that's kind of like an Easter egg finish, that thing though, in a way. Almost.
Yeah, and when someone says, "Oh, you have multiple choices that give you multiple endings," and they say, "Oh, yeah, it can give you blah 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 endings," it's a hollow promise.
It's just weird because they say there's different, but you can do all three no matter what you do.
Yeah.
But saying that, I know. But saying that it's a pipe dream. It's always been a false, like, promise, saying something.
But some games do it well.
It doesn't matter what ending. Like, but when you go back to classic RPGs, like saying before, like Fallout 1 and 2, you still had your solid ending. You still had your choices at the end. It's either going to be good, be evil, blah blah. And then you still made those choices and reflects. But then, number 2, you see the choices reflect onto the sequel and so on and so forth. And like, it didn't matter which,
I feel like that's where they haven't. I feel like they mostly haven't perfected it yet. And it's they've perfected consequences continuing on, so it affects the next play, but they haven't worked out what the recipe works for when you make your consequences, how the ending goes. Because you look at games, how they do it, there's no way from what your choices do really making, like, some games do it, some games seem to have it right, but most games don't have the choices working right, because it always seems to be multiple choice at the end. If you look at most games, like, there's only a select few that show that you did this, so your outcome is going to be this, like, narrates the story in a certain way. There's only a few games that do it.
Because
it wouldn't be long. It wouldn't be long before you get to actually have a meaningful outcome, like, for the next game. Like, your game should carry over to the next, like, to say Mass Effect. Whatever you get in time should be reflected in 2 and then 3.
Yeah.
Not just that thing.
The only one I say that's really got the perfection down for multiple choice down would be Telltale. They're the only ones that I feel that have really perfected that choice of multiple choices and actually affects your ending. Thinking about it, because they do kind of have your set endings. They do have, like, here's your 5 or 10 different endings, and depending on which trail you go will lead you towards that ending. You could be going off here and make your way actually back to the same different ending. You could be doing something over here, but there's also chances that you make that one wrong choice and you're going to go back that way. So they seem to do okay.
Yeah, I think it was easier for Telltale though, because
it's narrative.
This way, you've got narrative. You've got your entire story arc set up.
You select the choices
and then you can say these are the multiple choices and these are the critical points that you choose at.
Yeah, because
all I do is create those scenes for it. But when you've got a game like an RPG, you've got so many multiple choices. If you give the player too much,
contradicts itself. Yeah. Well, it's like you come back to, like, Mass Effect, like when you had the gameplay. You have gameplay where you're killing people or something like that. Any of those games like Assassins, you're killing people through the actual gameplay. But then when you come to your choices of conversation, you're good, so you get good choices. But then get to gameplay, you're killing again, and then you got good choices. Like, the game wouldn't know if you're good or evil.
Well, like, if you've played enough RPGs, they do kind of do it right in a sense. So the thing they'll do is they'll give you the main cliff note. This is what you decided right at the end to do. This is, you kill the bad guy, you save the bad guy, whatever. Do this, but then after that, it'll show all these sub consequences. So it's like, you decide to save this town, or you go into this town, you kill everyone, or you go into this town and you've flooded with fecal matter. Played Fallout 2, you know exactly what I mean.
Or the bombing 3.
Yeah. 3? Or you decide to you've met the farmer's daughter or son, whatever you try, choose, your choice, and next minute you're in a shotgun wedding with the farmer. Or you decide to seduce the farmer, and next minute, you're being called daddy or mama. That's the choices, and it's those sub-choices that's fine. But then, you're still going to have your main choice at the end. And that's a lot of RPGs who I've noticed they've done that. And that's that's the closest we're ever going to get.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want a game with meaningful choices, Until Dawn, that has a few endings.
Oh, yeah.
Like, them kind of games, like Man of Medan, they aren't as good as Until Dawn, though. That had more...
I guess they're the very narrative, though, at the same point. I guess they kind of come into that construct of narrative.
I don't know how many endings...
If you have the whole story set up, it's easy to do.
It's all pinpoint choices because it's following that choice trail. It's not just, like, different things, like I say with the other things, where you could do murder in gameplay, but then make choices, and then it confuses because it doesn't register what you're doing.
Really, really hard.
Because Until Dawn, people die. Like it's either live or they die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it affects. It actually affects on like if you chose to do one action, it either saved them or it didn't. So then at the very end, those characters are dead through the whole game, so they're not going to be back when you end or something like that. So that I guess does affect the outcome because you can either save everyone or everyone dies. So you've got like Heavy Rain is affected by it. Beyond Two Souls is affected by it. Then you've got Until Dawn, stuff like that. You know.
Detroit.
Detroit, yeah.
Heavily.
That's the other one I was thinking of.
Any David Cage game.
And they're pretty good at that as well. So they've got there's like so there are those few companies that have it right, but then there's others that just don't have it.
I mean, Supermassive Games and David Cage, they're your best choice ones because they give you actual. It's either right or wrong. Like there's no in between. It's just bad or good. Instead of mixing how many. I've played somewhere. Mainly Cyberpunk. Nothing matters.
Yeah, and there's a lot of those games. I feel like then when you look at like when those came out and look at where their games are now, it feels like more games are being like, oh, we're gonna have this multiple choices, and they're not offering that. There's no choice anymore. Like it doesn't.
Like you hit the nail on the head before. It's narrative games can do that, and they're very good at doing it. But as soon as you convolute that narrative with the ability to just go, I can just kill everyone. You know, kind of narrative situation where it's like. It'd be really cool if I ran my car into all these people, and then blow it up, and then it just kills everyone, and then blah blah blah, and I can just use wall hacks, and it convolutes the narrative, and because it convolutes the narrative, it doesn't give exactly like pinpoint accuracy of like a definitive ending. And like I said, saying back before, it's very very hard for like RPG games, like for example Cyberpunk, to have multiple endings because you.
But that could have done well.
One is order.
Yeah, because that's like they tried to aim for that, but of course because you've got chaos in between, and then you can make choices through characters.
Yeah, you can't have absolute freedom without control.
Hey,
what?
Can I say spoilers about Cyberpunk or not?
It's been out long enough for me. It's been out long enough.
I mean, Daz hasn't finished it though.
Nah, it's not finished it.
Yeah. Just put a little comment in the YouTube. It's like if you don't want Cyberpunk spoilers, don't listen for the next 2 seconds, 30 seconds.
He wants to spoil.
No, that doesn't play it. I'll just wait. When are you gonna finish it, man?
Soon. I might play it through tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because the story's not long at all.
No, like I said, I think I'm not too far off. Like I've done everything else. I gotta just do the main story stuff. So I might try and finish that off tomorrow.
That Takamura phone call.
Actually, no. I'm gonna ruin it for him. Johnny Silverhand turns around and says, "We are in the Matrix," and he, says, "My real name is Neo."
Don't say it.
No.
I'm expecting him to plug his mic more often.
Actually, get the buzz cut back and everything.
Yeah, he does all that, and then
he just wakes up in that little pod. And
yeah, that's the ending. We've ruined it. Spoilers.
Well, good segue talking about Cyberpunk. We didn't.
Trinity.
I'll say good little segue here. We didn't have anything last week about the continuation of the CDPR hack, but we do this week.
Oh yeah.
As coincidentally the CDPR way. I'm being hacked currently. I am not allowed to say what I'm saying next. My cyber gear. So basically, so apparently now they're coming out stating that the hack that happened over 3 weeks ago now. Is it 3 weeks ago?
About 3.
Basically? Because we didn't have, so basically that delay that happened 3 weeks, the delay.
Dave's been fried.
They keep hacking my brain.
This is a long episode.
Basically the hack has delayed the patch that was coming out for this month, as we are now at the end of February, and there is no second patch for Cyberpunk, and they're now pushing to the second half of March, which I had called, and I knew that the hack was going to delay this whole friggin' thing.
But I don't get, the hack wouldn't have affected the developers. It was just
they were already going on with what they were doing. They already should have been working on stuff. They should already had been working on stuff. What does a hack taking stuff have anything to do with production line of people working?
Exactly.
No, they did manage to get part of the code, remember?
Yeah, but what's that going to mean? What's that going to mean though? Like they copied. They didn't steal. They copied and pasted stuff. So like, and that's IT level here. People working around their computers at home and stuff shouldn't mean shit because there's backup so that they can keep sending it, wherever they're working. They're the developers, they're the people designing stuff that need to update and fix. Like, how is that gonna?
Imagine if they deleted everything off their servers.
Hack it, delete. Like, and that's why
to make the game scratch. Have someone from CD Projekt Red go
Witcher
to the
was
store
gone.
buying it,
Gwent
the game.
gone.
And
the upcoming project gone.
And like I said, I basically feel like it seems a bit coincidental, and I feel that the hack came at the right time. The hack I'm going as conspiracy theories. That the hack was possibly made up because of the fact that it was hacked internally, which is a bit shady that they were hacked internally, not externally. It hacked internally, stole source codes and stuff, and it just seemed to be the perfect thing to throw off them to be like, oh, we have to delay this update. Like, instead of, because they already had made their timestamp video going January, February, space, DLC, stuff like that, and they've gone, oh crap, we shouldn't have said that, and they're going, what can we do? Let's make a hack. Let's make a hack happen. Oh, guys, feel sorry for us. We've had this whole hack happening, Oh, we're going to need a delay now to next month. It's just like, why couldn't you just said, you're just giving yourself some room and just said from the get-go, okay, this is coming out January. We'll have this come out, like, next, couple of months later, not just straight after each other. Like, give yourself some room. Don't just be like, oh, we're going to do this. Like, think a little first before you say, No,
apparently it was meant to be all finished by June. I'm like, nope.
And that's exactly
meant to be patched and done by June. I'm like, that's like 6-7 months. That's pretty short.
And the fact that they managed to get January update out, which still was, when they brought that out, that was broken, then they actually had to patch that update. Like, they brought it out and then it broke the Takamura mission, which I was at, and I'm like, and then the February, I'm like, yeah, and I feel like this is what this whole thing is. Just look at this situation over here while things are going on over here, and because they're in this whole.
Is the whole team working on it? That's the thing. Like, who's working on it? Who's on their next game? Like Witcher 4 or.
Well, even if they get, well, I feel like that would be delayed now because they're working on this still.
Probably not. Like they've still got to hit that deadline for that game as well. Like in the next.
Did they have a deadline for that though? Did they actually have a deadline? Do they have a deadline? Do they need a deadline?
I assume they would. Witcher.
Would they have learned from this now? Yeah, because there's a whole bunch of DLC they're supposed to be bringing out for Cyberpunk as well.
Yeah, but their team's like 200 odd people or something.
Like,
plus.
I feel like there's going to be a gap before they even think about Witcher 4 if they're still going to be doing that.
Nah, I mean probably the next 5 years.
Yeah, guaranteed, because it took them how long since Witcher to Cyberpunk, and they released a lot of DLC for Witcher over time, and then they're planning on doing a whole bunch of DLC for Cyberpunk.
I mean, Witcher was 3 mini games expansions. Like they were big expansions.
Yeah,
that's exactly it, and that's exactly it. Like, but then because of the issue with they've had promising stuff for Cyberpunk, and then having that, is it going to make them think a little bit more in the future and be like, we're going to think a better window because of what has happened? Like, I feel.
What you mean, like less DLC and then focus on another IP and just kind of.
Well, wondering what's going. That's exactly it.
Worked on now, like at the same time as these updates and DLC and.
Well, I don't know if they'd be doing that at the same time. I feel like it'd be a bit too much for them because they're already stressed out trying to deal with this. They're in the hot water where they could almost lose the company. It feels like.
They've only got 3 games going at the moment. Like.
Yeah, you spread it out a little bit more. Like, it's not to say let's not put Anthem together with Cyberpunk and say Cyberpunk is the new Anthem.
Yeah.
But,
it's more polished than that. Like more things to do.
It's a lot more polished than that. It has a lot more like the studio itself.
But and that's to say, is that why they're a bit more pressured? Because is it because they're working on something? Like, what's the actual go? We don't know. So.
Well, we're not working with the company in the sense of knowing their 10-year plan or something like that.
Yeah.
It's normally we would find out stuff through like E3 or something like that, but considering COVID, everything's been canned, and it's hard to tell. Like when a trailer drops, that's the only time we ever know that's going to be that game.
But even then, there's no specifics. It's just a cinematic thing. I was like, do we not get gameplay anymore? Like it's all cinematic. Every trailer now is cinematic.
I think that was the last thing, and I think the only thing I'm hyped up about this year is Back for Blood.
I mean, Kenna looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Horizon.
Yeah, Horizon. Sort of right, but I think the only thing for me personally is Back.
I mean, Clank, man.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
I'll say, speaking of that, to squeeze them in as well, we've seen a few other little games get announced as well, coming through. So we've seen Sifu. You told me about that one. Yeah. Sifu looks pretty dope.
I mean, what it is, because I've got a little note.
Yeah, do you want to quickly throw that in?
It's a martial arts action game. If you've played Absolver, it's from that developer. I don't know who it is, but it's in a. It's not cell shaded, but it's
a weird in between.
It's in between an anime and cell shading kind of thing. It's weird, but Sifu, martial arts action.
And then
why not?
Yeah, so that's pretty good. And then the other one we saw the trailer for was the announcement, which I've been keen for a while, which we haven't had a game of for a while, was the Hot Wheels Unleashed.
Ooh.
I was like so keen when I saw that trailer. I was like, yes, we're finally getting a Hot Wheels game.
You reckon that was gameplay they were showing? Because that looked pretty good. If it
could be, it could have been like even built with, like, they didn't say there was anything, but it could even been demoed in like PS5 or something. Like in-engine, I don't know. Like, it looked pretty decent, but it didn't look like it looked like gameplay almost, or some of it did. You know, it's interesting. We'll see. You have to wait and see how it's going to actually look.
I mean, we won't have long to find out. It's like what, September 30th it comes out.
Yeah, something like that. End of the year.
Which is also, it's going to be on PS4, PS5, all the Xboxes.
Yeah.
The ones, the X's, the Switch, and PC.
So which is pretty
30.
Cool.
I mean,
I think this year that I'm not looking really at any AAA games to fight. The closest would be Back 4 Blood. I think indie games are going to shine because a lot of indie.
AAA though, Back 4 Blood.
Yeah, exactly. It's done by the studio that worked on like Left 4 Dead.
Says sequel.
I mean, it definitely looks like a next gen thing, but they're not really a AAA team.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why I think this year it's going to be less focused on AAA games and more focused on indie.
Mostly Sony, I think, because they've still got like Ratchet,
doing the whole
Horizon. Yeah. I mean, God of War maybe this year, end of the year.
Yeah.
Next year.
I love the meme for that, where it was just like 30 minutes into being released on PC, and you see the skins where it's got Yoda as Kratos and like Baby Yoda as the son. It's like, you know, like as soon as it releases on PC, modding will go wild. And I'll have Yoda as Kratos and Baby Yoda.
I don't reckon God of War's leaving Sony at all. Like, it's just too much of a moneymaker for them.
Oh yeah, it's what they did with the last one. I think it was kind of in sense of taking a leap of faith and going, well, let's just do it. It's the franchise is somewhat done. I wouldn't say the franchise is somewhat dying beforehand.
They could have made a fourth with looking like 3, but it would have just been more of the same.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they took a leap of faith with that, and it paid off because I think at that time it showed that narrative games in that sense, like story-driven games where you can still have the action, you can have the excitement. You know, like the Nathan Drake games, they were finished. But we needed something else to replace it. And I think the Kratos games, God of War, replaced it.
I mean,
and it filled in that, you know, spot where the Nathan, you know, Uncharted games.
I mean, Uncharted's coming back, but not with Nathan Drake, I don't think. It's probably, what's her name? From
no,
the
they
Lost
already did one, didn't they? And it kind of like, it didn't make the impact as much as the Nathan Drake games.
The Lost Legacy is pretty highly rated. That was the one with Chloe and Nadine.
Oh, yeah.
That's a 9, I think, out of 10 people gave it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's the thing on PC, not PlayStation. That's why I'm looking forward to PlayStation releasing all these games on PC.
Yeah.
Same thing when Xbox went, hey, look, we're going to have Xbox on PC. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Well, that always made sense. That like always worked because it was Microsoft. But it's the fact that it's the big fact that it's Sony, like Sony exclusive games coming to PC. It's just like, what?
There's a catch to that though. You know what they're actually doing? It's last gen games, so you're
rebuying
PS5 to play the next one.
Yeah.
Like
or you gotta wait long enough to.
They're gonna put the sequel to that on PC, so you buy PS6. Like they're playing it smart. Oh yeah. Speaking of that, Days Gone is hitting the PC soon. Actually.
Yes.
Well, so the other thing to that.
I'm gonna play it too.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say a lot of things to being a PC per se is a plus side is that I'm imagining they'll mostly get the upgrades. Like if you were to upgrade your versions from PS4 to PS5, I'm imagining PC will get that addition as well for like high-end PCs.
Well,
it's not. Horizon didn't launch well.
Because
yeah, it was a weird port though. How they did.
You get a lot of people that just go, "I'll mod the game and I'll make it look fantastic myself."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like I'll chuck in something that developers didn't do, and that's the reason why it's also PC is fantastic because, like for example GTA 5. I'm not promoting anything, but GTA 5 you play online. Yeah, when people just put mods on and
play as Iron Man.
Yeah, play as Iron Man or something like that, or like even when people just go, well, I want every single car, so do it. And it's hard to do mods on unless it's a part of a store like Fortnite, how it's I'll buy skins. With PC, it's instantly like, okay, someone's made it. I can just download and have it on there. I don't have to pay anything. I can modify my stuff like that, or like hacks on whatever. That's the great thing about PC, but that's also the hindrance of PC, where it's easier to have hackers. Especially
hell yeah, especially in COD.
Ooh. Yeah.
Oh yeah, COD. You get them all
any
games.
online shooter, like.
Yeah. But that comes down to the companies. They need to hammer down on hacking. They need to start doing like IP bans or stuff like that.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, even more than that, just if you can do more than IP ban.
Something.
Oh, well, yeah, it's IP ban. Sure, they can change the IP, but then you just do hardware ban. So
that makes more sense. Like that way they can't play it again. Like first they buy a whole new console or PC or
like
Well, they'll start to pick up the hardware.
Yeah. It was like what game was it? I think it was a Call of Duty or something like that. It was GTA, where they found if you got caught for hacking or you were doing hackish stuff or really like you're a bad player, you were like a toxic player, they would put you in
bad lobbies,
with other lobbies with other toxic players. So you've got a piece of your own medicine. And once you realised, oh no, the game isn't fun anymore because people are doing the same thing to me as I'm doing to other people. Well, you kind of, don't do it. You're an idiot. What do you get out of hacking? What do you get out of cheating? What do you get out of griefing other players? It's like you'll get that small gratification, but really you're just like you're being a little person about it. There's no point. You're ruining it for others. You're ruining it for yourself. And then what are you gonna do? You're just gonna drop that game. You're gonna do it to another game and be absolutely toxic about that as well. And on that point, I think that was one of the recent updates with Siege. They're going towards eliminating toxic kind of player styles.
So the team killers and
all the team killers and all that kind of stuff.
People quitting and stuff.
Because
a long time coming. No, that's 6 years, I think.
I think the more you get rid of toxic players, and I don't mean like hackers or I mean like it's toxic players,
the non-team players.
Yeah. It's if you're gonna play a team game, play a team game.
Like I played Seed, I got shot straight up as game started, bang. I'm like, wow.
Play it. Stuff like that should be big no go. Like sure, if you can play it, like if you're by yourself, that's
they've been cracking on that over time though. If I remember too, it was like they used to. You could shoot him, but then now it's like they got to the point now. It's like you get one warning, and then if you do it again, you get kicked from the game or something. You get you're done, you're gone. Like if you're gonna be like that, you're out of the match. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but like it stops people from the other team coming across and shooting the one team to cheat and stuff like that, which they used to do. You have the extra play and join.
That does still happen. Like people just sit at the spawn and just straight up. It's stupid.
Well, the amount of hackers I've encountered with Tarkov is ridiculous. It's just, and I've seen hacks.
We just wallbang and stuff.
Yeah, I've watched the videos on how those hacks work. Like literally, they can look through walls. They can see where your character is, what you're doing.
And that's exactly it. And then again, too, it's like why do you want to do that? That's what gets me. It's like you want to hack it. You want to be able to kill everyone. And it's like, but what are you going to do if you can just easily gain the loot? Like, what's the whole point is to feel like you've earned that loot. But if you're just gonna hack to get it all, like you're not really earning it. You're just taking it for yourself. Like it doesn't feel like you've actually earned it. But to them, like, yeah, I've gotten it. Yeah, sweet. It's like, but what? You're not properly earning it.
Well, did you see different types of players? Yeah. So what were you saying, Jim? Yeah.
Did you see Dr. Disrespect's video where he's playing Warzone and the dude's like he was spectating a hacker and he's like going off like, oh, I'm killing everyone. He's literally standing still with a pistol, bang, bang, bang.
Oh yeah, I've seen videos like that where.
Have you not banned?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's like, what the hell? Like, it's different types of players do that. It's like
there's no reward realistically.
Yeah, there's no realistic reward, but some players do it because they are experienced players, but they've been done bad by hackers so often.
They'd become one just to turn it back.
They become one to make an even ground, but you've just become exactly what you hate.
Yeah,
creating a monster.
Yeah, creating a monster, but that's
it's like you live long enough to die a hero, or you see yourself become the villain.
Yeah, exactly. But that's also becomes worse because you're an experienced player with hacks. So that's even worse.
That's why I like console. You rarely get a hacker unless you're playing like a cross-play thing. Then you get hackers on PC still.
Yeah.
Like with the CODs now.
Got rid of more of the hackers on PC. I think PC would even be better as community as a whole. But to do that, it's like, don't get me wrong. I've used hacks in the past in the sense of like, Command and Conquer, Red Alert.
Yeah, but against other people to win.
Yeah, that's I don't like that. I hate
like doing it in COD, doing it for Tarkov, doing it for like Squad, doing it for any shooter online or something like.
It's like just get good, just get good, play the game. Like, why are you going anyway to spend money on that game then just use these mods that are really not making the game fun for anyone? It's like you're not really looking good because you're not doing anything. You've got a bot doing stuff for you basically. It's like what are you trying to do?
That can stop that? No.
Like
there should be something that can put it in a game which can stop it. Surely there's someone out there who.
DRM. Please don't say DR.
Why?
DMR or whatever. It was. How basically you always have to have a constant internet connection to play the game.
Oh yeah.
That means I can monitor whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
It's like one of the worst things in gaming ever proposed. Because one, you have to constantly single player games. It ruins.
You still have to be connected.
Yeah, you have to constantly be connected, and it was like even
Xbox.
if you want to play, even if you want to play a single player game, it's like you can't play this game. Why? You don't have internet connection, and it's like, well, what happens for people who are like secluded up on a mountain, no internet connection?
That's what I'm trying to remember who it was. There was someone I can't remember which company it was. I saw it last week that they were looking at wanting to try and integrate that when you to cut down load times on games. That when you started the game, whether it was on disk or on your hard drive, you would start up, but it would send to their servers to then boost it up for you so that it comes back, so it would load quicker. But then if you're basically doing that, you're basically going, oh look, we're going to access your server. And it's like, well, you've logged into our servers. We can now access what you're doing basically. And then just flick back, and then it's like, well, you wouldn't even know you were going to use this as an option. But then it's like basically you're allowing us then, therefore, to observe, and you wouldn't even know because you don't know what's going to happen when you connect to their servers to load the time up. Like, it sounds like an easy thing to go, well, just do this, and now you're, subpar.
Load times are not bad now.
Seeing me on my phone.
Yeah,
it's load time PC, they're quick now. Load times on the next gen, just like Spider-Man, Miles Morales. I pressed X to load it, and it was bam, just like that, like straight to the menu.
It's different to the whole Connect thing. It's like, no one wants to see you through the camera, no one's gonna be observing you through the camera, but like this is like more or less getting your IP to actually see where people are basically playing their games. And they go, okay, this is what demographic market, this is the study of how many people are playing games in these regions, because we're actually getting actual tracking. And then they can see what's going on and go, okay, this is how to market it. Yeah, and that's exactly it. That's what it will really come down to, is ad revenue. It's like, okay, well, this is what this is playing on this IP. Well, we know this IP is doing this. Let's send them this information so we can try and sell this to them. And that's exactly it.
No shit. I watch Squad on YouTube. I got an ad on Facebook about it. I'm like, Squad, the fuck? Like,
it's quick. Everything's connected. I do that with my emails, trying to search things up through my emails, trying to find certain things to like look through, and then I start getting pop-up advertisements related to things like I've been trying to connect my accounts to and stuff like. It's like advertising just easy. It's just crazy. So I don't know.
Oh, that reminds me. The latest free games on Epic at the moment would be Rage 2. Hopefully
yes.
it could be in time. So, reminded. And I think Sunless Sea is one of the latest ones. The game is normally $30. On Epic, it's free at the moment. So,
pretty good ones there.
But yeah, always, if you're a PC player, always check on Epic. There's
some
always
decent
a free
games.
game for you.
I mean, I do recommend Rage. The game is so good.
Rage 1 better. Rage 2 is still good.
I mean, I had fun with 2. It was pretty short. I had fun with it. It's just one less killing.
Well, what was that? About a month ago, Battlefront 2 was for free.
Oh,
on
yeah.
Epic.
Yeah.
So, jumping on that and
not too earlier, they had GTA as well.
Yeah, well, last year I got World War Z. That was free on Epic, and that was a fantastic game.
Remnant,
Remnant, I think, was free.
Yeah, Remnant was free as well. Yeah, that is still free.
If only Steam. Just put one game up. Just put one game. Epic has 2. Most time it's 2.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll put 2.
One's are usually a little indie or something.
Oh my god. Yeah. So any other?
Yeah, it's always. And GOG. GOG actually has free
you got
games
your anything still to squeeze in there?
I've got the PS Plus for March, which is pretty. It's pretty impressive. But you've got. I will save the big one till last, but I'll start with the PS5 one first. But you get Maquette. I don't know what. It's like a puzzle thing. It's a.
I think it's Maquette as machine.
Bigger.
Yeah.
It's like that Stanley thing on it.
The other one I played, that perspective one that I ended up playing.
Yeah.
As well, yeah, because I got it.
It's like that. You get Farpoint VR.
Yep.
Remnant from the Ashes. But the big one, Final Fantasy VII, is free next month. The remake. I'm like, ooh.
I know, it's pretty big.
Which, I'm surprised how they put that up there. Like,
so quick.
It's only not even a year old.
Yeah, and it's a bit strange. What's my other big thing I've got here? The announcement for some new...
Huh? Making those frozen.
Oh god, we're all frozen. Oh no, we're fine.
No, I'm still here.
Jim's freezing.
Oh,
we're gonna have an issue. We have memes. No, Jim's back.
Quick, climb a mountain.
What's going on? Discord having a history.
Yeah, I have to climb the mountain. I'm gonna definitely do that. I'm definitely doing that for the future. So being something that's also back like Jim is, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl are getting a remake. If you haven't heard, we're getting Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Jim's off in lag land, so hopefully these games won't lag. Being fully remade.
Remake.
They're fully redone because they're going to be in the basically the same engine as the Sword and Shield, so they're all that third person, not that old school top down like the games used to be, which is pretty cool. Seeing those come back, it'd be cool to play those. But then the other one was, I can't remember how to pronounce this. I'm going to butcher it as always. Because named after that, like the first Pokemon, Arceus. I can't remember how to pronounce it. Arceus. I don't know. It's friggin' weird, but it's called Legend Arceus or something. I get it confused all the time. I butcher it so badly. It's one of these pre-Pokemon, but they've got that coming out, and that looks like to be more of an RPG this time around, more extensively RPG, and it looks like it's kind of in the Breath of the Wild format, so it's open world.
Wait,
more open world. Like, I mean, Pokemon's always been open world, but it's like more of a open world RPG, third person, actually exploring a world, not just like here's designated area. Yeah, it's like that kind of format. That, you know how Breath of the Wild's like that open world format. That's what they're doing with Pokemon. They've got a game going to be more like that, and it's in that perspective, and then you've got like battles in the old school, typical RTS.
I didn't check that out.
Yeah, look at it.
I just skipped it. I thought it was nonsense.
Yeah, so they're using a mix this time for the starter Pokemon as well. They're not just using like a new set of Pokemon for the starters. They're actually using 3 Pokemon from different generations as the starter.
Wait, what?
Yeah, which is a cooler way. So they've got the grass type is the last one. The fire type was Cyndaquil. No, was it Cyndaquil? I think it was. And then the grass type was the owl from the last one, or the one before. I can't remember exactly. And then the one was the otter. I can't remember what it's called again. So they're all different generations, and they're using them. So it's kind of not just going like, here's a new set of starters. We're gonna go like pick different stuff from different generations, and like these are the starters now. I'm like, that's,
I don't know the new ones.
Yeah, I can't remember. They're all over the place. Yeah, but like that's different.
No, the original 150. Like, that's all I know.
So it's pretty cool.
Probably the gold, silver.
So at least we're getting like a whole new Pokemon game in an open world format, and then 2 games that are getting fully remade, basically, in a different format altogether as well. So it's gonna be like cool to see them.
They do look good, though.
Yeah. So I'm keen to get those when they come out. Like I'm like, god damn it! I skipped on Sword and Shield. I was like, oh, I kind of want to get them. I kind of want to play them. But then I like these. I'm like, I kind of want to go back over Diamond and Pearl, especially that they're now in the new engine altogether. And then I'm like, and then we've got Pokemon Snap around the corner, and it's like, oh, so many Pokemon games.
Yeah, well, the Pokemon games are late 2021, so
end of year.
Which I'm just probably holiday 2021. Maybe, probably November-ish.
Yeah,
December.
That's. I mean, I got a lot of other news here that going through, but going through the podcast, it's like, are they really massively noteworthy? I mean, they're just little tiddly bits.
I mean,
I was gonna go into some cancer culture crap, but I decided not to because it's like,
Well, once you said open world, it reminds me of it again, Valheim.
Yes, Valheim's good. Definitely
that's
do it,
one of the biggest games at the moment.
Well, last week that hit 2 million players worldwide, so I was like, wow, and it's a really good game. I'm enjoying it. Like, and I just
a note PC game.
There was I think they added was a patch or a mode, Vulcan or something added to it as well. Which
Vulcan.
I was reading it's like a thing that makes it play.
Isn't it?
Yeah, they've got that added to it, so it runs it better or something. It's interesting.
Because Doom runs on Vulcan, so if that's using that.
Yeah, they've only just recently put that update in, so which I thought that's pretty cool as well. So I'd be interested to see what goes from there.
Yeah, to see that another like top game that's been making the rounds as for the year is another PC game. Just dropping that note.
Yes.
PC's always up there.
Yeah, I know. I just like to drop that because it's like it's not your CODs that are all console. It's not your PlayStation.
Right.
Games.
I mean,
it's
indie
games. Yeah, I know. It's PC games they've been making around. It's like last year the biggest
indie games as well.
Indie games as well. They're all mainly on PC, and then eventually they get released on consoles. And that's what I'm saying. Indie games this year are going to
the way Valheim's going, I wouldn't be surprised that will hit consoles, being the way it's going. Like they won't want people to miss out. So
that's where the money is. But it's like I'm just making the point where basically some of the biggest games in the last 2 years have all been PC based, and then they've jumped over to consoles.
Yeah.
And that's and this is just me saying PC Master Race. Just saying there.
Were you having a stroke? You alright? You're fine? You're not having a stroke?
I'm just kind of rubbing it in.
Just had a bit too much Ricky Chavez.
Yeah, Chavez. I'll just read half it.
Finish it off. Oh,
that's great. You got to clip that. You take that. Put it in its own theme. I mean, I don't think no one makes as good as games as Sony first party though. Like,
yeah.
Nothing beats like Last of Us, God of War, Tsushima. Like those are just gamers games. Like
solid. Yeah. For action, narrative, like, everything like that, like visuals.
Fantastic experiences.
Yeah.
About playing a movie, which I don't mind. Like something I can just chill out to on the couch or something. Like just.
Yeah, exactly.
You need those escapes. You need those narrative-driven experiences. That you have those, interactive parts, which are like your action, hack slash, whatever. But having those experiences where you can literally just sit down and go, "Oh my god, this is like living out some kind of, drama right in front of you." It's those are the moments and experiences that really stick with you.
Yeah.
Like there was this video that I watched where it was kind of like, a montage of gaming experiences. It was just like, it was literally moments in a game that it was one of those, like, you don't touch anything, you just watch. And it was like, you just went all in awe, just going, this is the reason why I played this game. This was like, it's like seeing Master Chief, you know, like any of the Halos just do something amazing, and you just go, this is an experience that, you know, you hold.
I tried to play God of War. That's got it's all like one camera as well, which makes it cool. Like they cut scenes in gameplay, you can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
Like I was standing there once, just like, oh, he's not moving. I'm like, which they're cutscenes. They're not frequent.
They're seamless. It's more seamless.
When you get one, you don't want to skip it. You don't want to look away.
Oh,
like,
yeah, exactly.
It's all action packed. Like you've got to watch it. Like,
yeah,
it's like I do recommend
GTA
that
as well, and Red Dead Redemption experiences like in those games.
Oh yeah.
When you just go, it's not just like, it's when you're chasing after a train and you're trying to do something like that, or well, especially with GTA, when you're like GTA San Andreas. Yeah, it's GTA San Andreas, where you're gonna ride the bike and chase after the train. That scene, if you remember that one, San Andreas.
You know the dude's name. What's his name?
Oh god, OG Loke? No, that was a different, same game, different.
It's like you always miss that train. You always miss it. Like,
oh yeah, 100%. But then also there was the other experiences when you're going from drive-through, and there's the ultimate meme where it's just like, I have 2 number 9s, number 6, number 7, 5. I have number 5. Yeah, it is like that. That's a experience in itself. But then you have your other experiences, which are just absolutely, you know, heartbreaking, like Call of Duty. That bit where you come up to the helicopter and the general comes out and shoots your buddy and then shoots you. And then,
that was
Modern Warfare.
There's been a few of them now that you just bang and you just
happens.
Yeah. Those shock and awe experiences.
Like Modern Warfare 2. That happened in that too. Like the no Russian mission. Like bang.
At the end, no Russian mission. That was like, you're like, they've never done this in a game before. This is still kind of, what the hell. I remember when it was released, and they gave you the option to skip that.
I mean, it's not just play it, because it is. I wouldn't say it's fun, but like you need to experience.
It's part of the narrative.
Yeah,
it's the experience. Exactly. It's a narrative for it, and
then
that's
you feel
why. Yeah. But that's why, like, games are just like movies. You need those experiences, whether it's good or bad, to kind of go, oh my god, did I just experience that? You know, when you're seeing like Batman interview Joker, that scene where he's in the interview room and he pops up right behind him and smashes his face on the table, like, that just happened, kind of thing. Yeah, like whether it's good or bad, you experience, you know, moments of violence or moments of heartbreak, and seeing characters die or characters, you know, have weddings or whatnot. It's those narratives and experiences is why video games, so much money, not just so much money, but so much invested in people, like, just go, oh my god, I love this, and this is the reasons why, and everyone can share those same experiences. Or it's like when you're playing like Call of Duty, it's like, oh my god, I just got like a triple kill right there. And then it's even better when it's like, I just got a triple kill and saved my, you know, teammates or something like that. Or
gonna clutch in a search and destroy.
Yeah, clutch. Yeah. Or it's like Siege. Yeah, it's basically your whole team is wiped out. You're the last one alive. Next minute you'll get an ace and you win the match. It's those experiences that make gaming best. But you know, there's different types of experiences, like the multiplayer experiences or the narratives, and you can't go past the narrative experiences that give the most joy that you can relive again and again, and everyone else lives through it too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, you always find something new if you play a story game, like something you didn't pick up the first time, like because you focused on one thing, then you do it again, you see something else, and then something else.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things going on that you just don't realize. Have I frozen again?
No, Dale's just watch his face.
He's licking his
He's looking at his face.
But I mean, I do recommend, if you want tons of emotion, play Last of Us 1 and 2.
Yeah.
That'll rip your heart out like multiple times.
Oh yeah. Well, I played the Telltale games, you know, The Walking Dead, and it was like, especially in the first one, there was a moment where you're like, no, gotta save this person, and no matter, you go back again and try different multiple outcomes, you can't save this character. And then even with the ending that you've gotten, where you're just like, you know, you're just like, no, and you go back and you try and relive it, and that's what causes the replayability, and you're just like, no, and it's just, I don't know whether sometimes people get ruined because of it, or they just persevere and keep going, and you know, it's a very traumatic experience for me.
Reminds me of, because I never played when Resident Evil 2 launched again in 2019.
Yeah.
I never played it beforehand. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. And the dude, the cop already there, like, what's his name? I saw that.
Yeah, I saw that.
What's his name? Funny something Branner or something. But like seeing him at the start and midway just turn, it's like, man, I thought you were there to the end, at least.
Well, it's like the scene when, you know, in Final Fantasy VII, when Sephiroth kills.
I don't know that.
There's that scene. There's that scene when Sephiroth kills someone, and you just go, no, and you just go back again and try and go, no, can I save this person? And then you just kind of like, the next time you play it, it's funny because you're like, there's no point like leveling up that character. They're just gonna die, and you can't stop it. And there's no point. But
I feel so. It's not cheap when it's unexpected. It's like just bam, gone.
Yeah. And that's a gaming experience.
Playing a game like midway through the cutscene, it's like dead. I'm like, what? What did I just witness? It's like, that's big. A lot of CODs do that actually.
Yeah. But I think they've done it a bit too many times now. That it kind
it's a bit predictable.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't played Cold War yet, which
it would shock me if Call of Duty did a wedding. I'll put it that way.
Shotgun wedding.
Yeah, shotgun wedding, like Fallout.
Well, the other shock we've got, I'll say the other
shotguns and the whole fucking reception. Oh,
actually, you can do that. It does give you that freedom.
Well,
you want to get out of the wedding.
So the other shock we've got here, we've now definitely passed over the 2-hour mark. We are now 2 hours and 7 minutes into this episode. A little bit longer than normal. So we'll start wrapping up the end here. We'll start wrapping up, and we'll have the little segment after the episode. Just before we start splitting this up, do we have any extra news to chuck in before we? I have one little bit of news still I want to drop in to talk about.
3 things. 3 little things.
3 little things. Did you want to put them in? Did you want to? Up to you.
I can't. Outriders demo.
Outriders demo, yep.
Which is fun-ish. People don't like it. I find it fun. But you get that on every platform, I think, except Switch. Also, Kenna Bridge of Spirits, release date of August 24th. Which it was rumored for March. I'm like, and then it's in August. I'm like, what? I was so keen for March. And probably one that no one wants, but Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach coming to consoles. First person roam around. You got to avoid the animatronics. 2021, it's coming out, don't know when. It's very vague. But I don't think it's that scream in your face horror. I think it's more you're being stalked, you're being watched all the time.
I guess it'd be more in the sense of playing like Amnesia or something like that. More
I've seen the thing come out of it. You can fight back. I think you can fight back. I'm not sure.
Not just trapped in a room. It's more getting involved.
There's more than you there. Like there's you and someone else. I think. The trailer's all over the joint. I don't know what's what. But good. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't think Freddy's in there though. They never showed him.
Did you have any extra little tiddly bits of news there, Wookie? Did you have anything you wanted to plug through?
No. I'm not gonna think of anything at the moment. For some reason, I'm thinking like I could be like Alex Jones right now. No, but I'm not.
No, we could have that. We could have that after the episode. We'll have a little special after. Well, I think I'm kind of tempted with how this is going this episode. I kind of want to end this episode, and I'm thinking of having a bonus actual maybe episode. Maybe.
I'm thinking like Joe Rogan when he has Alex Jones.
Might do something different.
Let's beat the record.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might do something different. We might have a bonus.
Let's make this a 5-hour episode.
We talked about that earlier. We actually mentioned before we started that this could be a 5 or 6 hour episode. So it could be, and I don't have that a bad thing. But being how we go through this, I don't want to be cutting this up into multiple episodes. I mean, we could have a couple of weeks off, but it doesn't make a special guest for like 3 episodes. Being that we cut this episode up into like 3 episodes.
Yeah.
We would have done Johnny wrong.
Yeah, at least if we choose maybe a bonus episode as a bonus content thing, like maybe not just the end, maybe an episode that's a little bit extra.
I'll give it a nitbit for people that want to watch the last bit. It's like they put chemicals in the water. They make the freaking frogs gay. That's all I'm gonna say. They put things in the water to make the freaking frogs gay. That's it. Alex Jones here. Just saying.
Oh god. So no, the only little bit, I only had that one little bit of news that I wanted to put in earlier, but we'll have it at the end here now. So it got me a little bit. I was like, it's a bit of an end of an era. So we saw this week, Daft Punk finally split. They which was a bit of a, I was surprised. They ended up their whole. I mean, they hadn't done much for a little while. It's been a little bit quiet from them.
Yeah,
but,
it's been a lot of collaborations.
But they've just decided to go, no, we're done altogether now. There's no more Daft Punk, basically. They had that whole epilogue video that went for like 7-8 minutes or something like that. It was very thought out, like done like in their style, but it was just like, damn, it's come to that point. Like they're just like, no, we're done. They've been going for like what, 20 years or something like that.
That's
for a long time. No, there's been a lot more. They've been longer, but for what they've done, it's just interesting that they've just gone, no, we're done. Yeah. So
I mean, it takes a toll. I guess they just hadn't
being mutes for so long. Maybe they're just getting tired of not being able to talk. I don't know.
Yeah. So they'll start a podcast soon.
It'll be the it'd be called Path
like,
Dunk.
Pre-dunk,
post-dunk,
post-daft drunk.
So, being that we're at this point now, I think we'll do a little wrap up here. I'll leave Jim to do his little wrap up, and then we'll have a little. I think we'll do that. We'll have a little episode after the episode. So. We'll wrap up the main episode now. Leave Jim to wrap this up and thank our special guest for coming by. And then you can see a little special bit after. We'll keep on discussing a few things. Who knows what? Maybe come by for that video. Otherwise, you may just watch that video and be confused what's going on and be like, go back, watch the main video. That was like 2 hours long. Go back to that, watch that. And then you can understand what's going on here. So, I think we'll leave that to
2 hours and like 15 minutes.
We're nearly at 2 hours and 15 minutes. Maybe with the outro.
But yeah, as always, thanks Wookie for coming on for this one, man.
Thank you.
It's been so fun. And also, thank you Beardies and Beardettes for joining us on episode 9. Oh. And as always, what?
And just, when you went to that pitch, it just muted the 9. Like I could insert anything there. I could be like episode suck my dick. I could put anything in there.
Yeah.
Episode 9. How's that?
Yeah, that worked.
Yeah, that's better.
And as always, we'll catch you guys next week for episode 10. And what else? I mean, catch on the socials, Beardy Bros. And you and that bloody samurai mug.
Samurai.
Catch you guys next week. Bye.
Give me a second. I need to grab some of that water that makes frogs.
There we go. Go get the frogs.
Having the whiskey. I need that too.
I will stop that and we'll start again. So we'll stop that one.